Oh.
Oh.
People could just see us randomly. Not anymore. That was awkward. I know you can hear us. That's fine. I'm just going to talk over it.
Sorry, Nick the Great just did a text-to-speech Vince thing, like on my stream as we were sitting here. Welcome to the Pride of Detroit PODcast, prideofdetroit.com, Pride of Detroit on Twitter, Pride of Detroit on Facebook. Hey, we say it every time. You know where to find us. Live right now on twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit, on YouTube, search for Pride of Detroit. Wherever you see Pride of Detroit, it's probably us, unless it's not, and then thus they're imposters. You let us know so we can go and kill those people. Just straight or remove them from the, no, don't look so uncomfortable. This is what we do now.
Threatening violence on the podcast.
I am threatening violence on everyone. The Lions are 7-2, and I'm throwing up double middle fingers to the world right now. We are here to break down a Lions victory over the Los Angeles Chargers in one hell of a shootout, and probably the ballsiest move I will probably see all year from an NFL coach, if not any football coach. But first, I'm Chris Perfett, the adequate host who threatens violence at Chris Perfett on Twitter, where I will probably get destroyed for doing so. But anyway, Jeremy Reisman, the fearless and tired leader at Detroit on Lion, just in from Los Angeles, and boy, are his arms tired.
That's right. I'm just in. I didn't fly. I'm my arms being tired is unrelated to me being in Michigan again. But yes.
Ryan Matthews at Ryan_POD, senior editor. Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Chris. Jeremy, how dare you complain about being tired? How self-righteous of you.
Yeah, you know, I didn't even say anything yet.
I know. We have to get ahead of it because we got way too much Lions stuff to talk about. We don't have time to listen to you complain about it. We just have to go right to it.
It's a good primer though for people because I'm going to be off my game. So
you're going to be adequate.
I'm creating excuses for myself ahead of time in case I say something stupid. Essentially,
you're going to be adequate. It's fine. We're all adequate.
This is like the most mellow intro for what may have been the best game in the NFL through 10 weeks.
Look at Ryan bringing us back. I love it.
Full disclosure. Jeremy and I were in the press box at SoFi Field. Was it Field or Stadium? I always forget that. Either way, SoFi. First off, incredibly easy to get lost in SoFi. I wandered around after the game for about 20 minutes saying where the F is the exit. But, you're in the press box. You can't exactly cheer or talk about it. I do want to full disclose, and I'm maybe throwing Jeremy under the bus here. Before they went for it on 4th and 2, he punched me in the arm.
These nuts.
After they went. Yeah, after they made it, I punched it. Listen.
So it was after, okay. And then I punched you back several times while they were like setting up for the field goal.
Yeah, well, okay. You were getting the Eric Schlitt treatment. I would have done the exact same to him. And you were sitting into my right which is where Eric sits. So when big things happen, because I can't yell, because I can't really fist pump, the thing I can do the most and get away with is like a little like F yeah.
I'm not complaining about it. I just want to let people know
in case you have a bruise on your
press box
arm.
Energy was
yeah.
that we were dealing with here. Because Ryan, I know we'll do major takeaways and we'll let everyone get their rants in, but I don't know any other coach in the NFL faced with a 4th and 2, even knowing that Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert had been slicing and dicing your defense to the tune of 5 straight drives, 5 straight touchdowns. If they would have decided to go for it on 4th and 2 so they can kneel out the clock, 31 other coaches say, I'm going to kick the field goal, and for 90 seconds, I will trust my defense. I feel justified in saying that is unique, ballsy from Dan Campbell that has really given him an acumen in these kind of late games, especially in the form of context, not recklessness, context, to see that your defense hasn't been holding Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen and say, let's just end it right here and now.
Yeah, you know what? I think one of my big takeaways from the game is, man, I love to see the growth in Dan Campbell in terms of recognizing the moment, situation, and saying our best defense is Jared Goff, and the rest of the passing attack and even the running attack for that matter too. But I think, I mean, kudos to Dan Campbell, man. Just like in that moment, it felt like as soon as he was short and fourth down was on, it felt like there wasn't a choice. Like you had to do it. And it felt like the exact wrong move if he were to choose something different. And I think, again, like you see growth from Dan Campbell, even from his first season, right? I mean, you think about even the Minnesota game, right, where he chooses to kick the long field goal and give Minnesota a short field and they can score a touchdown. It felt like the decision was made immediately by Dan Campbell. It's like, no, like we know we're going to go for it here because Jeremy, they've been doing it all game long. Why change course?
Right. That's the fifth time, I think, the entire game they did it. And it's interesting, too, because I think in the exact moment, I was a little confused, but I think that was more just due to conventionality because there's a minute 30 left and you're in field goal position. Of course you kick the field goal. You take the lead. But yeah, stepping back even just for a second to think about it, all of the factors of the game was like, yeah, of course you go for it. Your offense is just absolutely obliterating the Chargers. You have a kicker who you don't know if you can trust from 44 yards.
Yep.
And you trust him from 55 earlier in the game, punted instead.
Right. And you have a defense that you know you can't trust right now. And so to answer Chris's original question, how many coaches do that? It should be 32. If they were in that exact same situation with the defense that they had, with the offense that they have, with the kicker that they have, it should be 32 out of 32. But it certainly wouldn't be. And interestingly enough, the analytics don't support Dan Campbell's decision. But again, this is why analytics are just a tool, not a blind follow, because those analytics don't account for Riley Patterson's accuracy. They're just general, like, here's what kickers make from 44. Here's what defense, a win percent or the likelihood of converting a 4th and 2 with an average offense going against an average defense. And this is what it means if you don't convert. This is the likelihood that they go back and score. And like, you have to take that knowledge and be like, okay, this is what it's like in an average situation, but we're not dealing with an average situation. We have a below average kicker from long distance. We have a below average defense right now. And we have an offense that is absolutely unstoppable. And that's what I'm excited to talk about all that. But to me, I get that there is some growth because, yeah, this is semi-comparable to the Vikings game. But my takeaway in terms of Dan's decision is that people are finally coming around to a lot of the decisions that he's been making really his entire time. This is the first time that it like directly led to a win. And I think people are starting to wake up that like, okay, he's not just making like incremental decisions that increase win percentage by 1% or 2.2%. This was a game deciding decision that very well could have been like literally the difference between a win and loss.
Yeah, and like, look, a lot of that comes with that he was successful on that. And I know that if he hadn't been, and if the Chargers had marched down the field from there and scored, then it would be all over and we'd be eating the egg on the face. But I still think regardless, it was probably the right decision because, again, we have to talk about the defense later in the show. It's something I think that has really charged up a lot of fans in regards to it. But ultimately, Lions played the game the Chargers wanted to play in a shootout, and you still were able to pull ahead. And it feels odd to have the nitpicks where once again the Lions are leading wire to wire in this game, Ryan. Like they still never gave up a lead. And the defense even, I think, had to do 8 downs on the goal line, and the 8th time they finally gave it up. So I thought the game they played had some holes in it, but ultimately this was a really important game to where your offense had to really step up, and it stepped up in multiple ways between this. This was a really good Chargers defense, and they didn't touch Jared Goff at all. Like Nick Bosa, Khalil Mack didn't get to Jared Goff at all. And that needs to really sink in before we then start talking about, hey, here's a play where Penei Sewell has suddenly bulldozed someone 10 yards up the field. Here's a great big old caravan for David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs to do the damage that they do. Like, this offense bullied a very good defense, and ultimately it's still the identity of this team is to be the offense that carries these wins. And it's good that they carried this win, because it is going to get tight at some point in the NFC North if the Vikings keep on their streak. This was a very important win for them to have today on Sunday.
I don't know if that was said to intentionally perk up Jeremy, but I think we can shelve Vikings talk for a little bit. But to your point, Chris, here's the thing. I don't think the Chargers are very good on defense, especially their run game, especially defending the run. And that quite literally happened to the tune of 31 carries for 200 yards at 6.5 a pop. And that's including Jared Goff's kneel down. So I think the one thing I thought I knew that I ended up did knowing, Jeremy, was that this game was going to be a shootout. And I think the point of concern for me is the passing defense against elite quarterbacks, sure. Right? Like, and it was on full display. And, Justin Herbert, yeah, to his credit, he was throwing some absolute ropes, man. He was putting stuff in really tight windows. The Lions did not have an answer whatsoever for Keenan Allen. The only thing that could sideline him was being sidelined with an injury. And even then, right, like Keenan Allen leaves the field, and what is the Chargers offense? That doesn't skip a beat, right? I mean, it's driving down the field and scoring more touchdowns.
Johnston and Guyton just step right up and keep doing the same thing.
Yeah. So, there is concern about the pass defense against elite talent, but I also don't want that to be overblown, right? Because newsflash at 7, right? The good quarterbacks in the league do good things.
Are hard to stop.
It doesn't matter. Right. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter what kind of passing defense you throw out there. I mean, unless you're literally, look at even the Cleveland Browns, right? Like, everybody wants to tout the Cleveland Browns as an incredible defense. I mean, they still gave up a 30 burger to the Ravens, right? Like, yeah. It just happens, right? But it's your team's ability to weather that storm. And, I really do feel like, and it's fine, because this is a league, even though scoring's down, right? Even though scoring's the lowest it's been in like 15 years. This is still an offensive league, right? So, yeah. I like the fact that the Lions are a top 5 offense by just about every metric and measure. I feel more comfortable about that fact, Jeremy, going into this final stretch of football we have here, than being like overly concerned about the defense.
Right. I mean, even if you like, because I think the main concern is, like, obviously the Lions' rest of the schedule not that hard, not a lot of elite offenses or elite quarterbacks. So, but once you get to the playoffs, defense wins. No, that's not true anymore. Like, when you think of the iconic football games in the modern era, you think of the 30-second Bengals-Bills game, right? You think of things like that. And that's kind of what we just got. We just got a game where the last team to hold on to the ball won the football game, and I think the Lions checked off a box that maybe we didn't know about Jared Goff. Maybe we didn't know about this offense. Can they go toe-to-toe with an elite quarterback? Can they score at the end of a game? Can they lead a game-winning drive? We haven't seen a ton of that from this team, because during this winning streak, they've been blowing off the doors of a lot of teams. Every game but the Chiefs game this year, every win was a 2-score game. This is one where it was tight, and they needed to perform when things were tight at the end of the game. They needed a field goal to be kicked to win the game, which is another box that needed to be checked for this team. So I understand the frustration of the defense, and I certainly share it. But at the same time, you can still win football games against very good teams with the offense playing the way it is currently. And I think maybe one of the most interesting things that happened throughout that game was that the narrative changed drastically. Because if you remember the first quarter and a half, the frustration was all on the offensive side of the ball. The Lions
Failure
held
on the red zone
the,
still.
the Lions held the Chiefs to 3 points through 4 drives, and you're like, the offense is kicking. They're like, we are dominating every phase of the game, and it's 10-3. It's 17-3. It should be 24-3. It should be 31-10. You know, and then suddenly it's like, okay, well the offense started to pick things up, and then the defense obviously slid way back, and it's like, oh no, this is the problem, the defense. And I do think some of the red zone stuff was always a bit overblown, and I'm not that concerned about it. But yeah, the defense is an issue. But Dan Campbell said it today. The reason, a big reason they won that game was the way the defense started that game. They got out to a good, comfortable lead. They were leading essentially the entire game, except when it got tied late. And the reason for that was Lions defense actually played pretty darn well in the first, quarter and a half. And I think it's important that we don't lose complete sight of that, even though it ended with 5 straight touchdown drives, which is unacceptable.
To Jeremy's point, the first 4 drives for the Chargers only resulted in 3 points for them.
2 3-and-outs and an interception in that.
Yep. And really, like, the Lions, there was the Taylor Decker penalty, which I know people have had their quibbles with, that really denied them having a touchdown on that first drive that ended in a field goal too. We could be talking about something a little bit different there on top of everything. You were never going to keep this Chargers offense bottled. I will say, to go back to something Jeremy usually started the season with and has been touting a lot, to use the word that I know he loves. The Lions played a game where they had to get a little uncomfortable. They had to play close. They had to play in a tight sprint. It's no surprise if you know the history of SoFi Stadium. It used to be a racetrack, and they were in a horse race here against another team with a really good offense. And it was first over the finish line. They had to do that. They had to play on some 4th down decisions where they knew they really couldn't give the ball back. They had to trust Riley Patterson late in the game when they decided early on, even indoors, we don't really trust him with a 55-yard field goal. They had to do some stuff that made them uncomfortable. And you want to talk about ticking stuff off the box, there you go. The only thing we really haven't seen the Lions do yet is really come from behind yet. But it's, as long as they keep controlling these games, you're in good standing.
Yeah, you are in good standing. Man, what a bummer though. Like, as far as JMO goes, like, can that guy have any more big plays taken off the board?
Right? Does he have 3 touchdowns? He has at least 2 touchdowns taken off the board, right? Maybe a third.
The flea flicker in Green Bay, right?
I don't.
But man, what a run block he threw! Okay. What a run block he threw for David Montgomery, though.
Yeah, I love it. It's almost kind of like memeing itself out though, where it's like, right. Yeah, the Lions' 12th overall pick that's supposed to be an explosive wide receiver keeps on making run blocking plays, but it's like
we call that the Bijan Robinson. He's making plays away from the ball.
Oh, okay. I love that. I love that JMO his plays are being named after another player.
They're both picked around the 6th pick, so
there you
go.
Yeah. Can I want to talk about my favorite play from yesterday. Can I talk about my favorite play from yesterday?
Sure.
Okay. This is a play that really got me buzzing, and it felt like the moment where I knew that the Lions offense was here and it was ready to go the distance. And it happened early. It happened on the Lions. It happened on their 3rd drive. The one actually where they turned it over on downs on the goal line. But that 4th and 5 out of shotgun to give the ball to David Montgomery. I think it was his 3rd carry of the game. The guy had missed a month of football.
Right.
And this offense and Ben Johnson said, yeah, no, he's our guy. Like, he's our guy. Here, go get that first down. Go run 10 yards to get that first down.
Philosophically, I hated it, but
hate it. But it's a Jeremy, right? Like, it's a mentality call, right?
Yeah, mm-hmm. It's a tone setter. It's a message setter. It's. I mean, that might have been a more ballsy call than going for it. In fact, I think it was.
Of the game.
Sorry,
yeah.
It was the draw play, right?
Yeah.
No, that was. I think I called that the Lions were bullying the Chargers by running that play. And that was absolutely. And
I mean, if it couldn't have been a I don't know if it could have been a bigger microcosm for the game, right? We're already starting to see some of the all 22 clips of Lions offensive linemen riding defensive tackles 10, 15 yards down the field.
You asked me at the stadium, why is Penei Sewell jogging back to the play? It looked like he had been out on like a wide receiver route.
Yeah, he was 20 yards downfield more than anyone else. And that was just what the day was. And we'll get to some individual performances, but like we could spend an entire segment on the offensive line.
Well, can I just do one of my other favorite plays from this game, just as a quick finisher?
Yeah.
And it might be the other one that I know people ask the most at after the game, and it was the 75-yard run by David Montgomery. You want to talk about being uncomfortable. Jeremy, what did Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff tell us all? That it was...
They came out of the huddle with the wrong play call for the wrong personnel. Yeah, they were supposed to be in 12 personnel, which means one running back and two tight ends. They were in 11 personnel, which means one running back, one tight end. So Amon-Ra was on the field when he shouldn't have been on the field, and we didn't really get clarification on why that was, whether it was a coaching thing or Amon-Ra thing or whatever. But they could not run the play that they had called with the personnel out there, and thankfully it was noticed pretty quickly by everyone, and Ben Johnson got on the headset and said, Jared, go to this play. Go to a run play.
Yeah.
And
Jared Goff checked out of the play. The play. Yeah.
And just on the fly, they call this play. They get set up. Everyone gets in the right mentality. Everyone gets on the right page. And this is all happening while they're at the line already. So they're probably with 15 seconds or so on the play clock. You get all of that set up, and you run a play to perfection. It's crazy.
I've always been a little skeptical sometimes on Jared Goff, but I don't know what else he's got to show me at this point. Like, this is really fantastic running of the offense, and it just every week there's something new that really reaffirms that entire sentence. Jared Goff runs the Lions offense.
I think the most telling play, and he had a lot of really good plays. Like he had that laser in between three defenders. Obviously the pass to Brock Wright was perfect, but honestly, the fourth down conversion, I think, shows the growth of Jared Goff more than anything else, because he had to go through a long progression there. He didn't panic, and I think part of it is he's built in trust with an offensive line that he clearly can trust. But like he looks at the tight end, he looks. The first read I think is to Gibbs on the out. He's not open. Then he goes to the tight end, then he goes somewhere else, and he has to go back to the tight end. All that time, like, no happy feet. He's just standing there calmly in the pocket, going through all those progressions. And in the past, we've just seen a little bit more of a panicky Jared Goff. And that sort of poise, that sort of comfortability, that sort of level of comfort in the scheme that he helped develop shows just how much of a quarterback he's grown. And that's what I keep trying to tell some people that are still doubters of Jared Goff is, you need to kind of dispel with your notion of who he was in Los Angeles, because they had him on a leash there. The Lions enabled Jared Goff to become a better student of the game, to become a better reader of defenses, all that sort of stuff.
To be his own independent quarterback, rather than just a figure piece for the coach or the play caller.
Right. He's just such more of a cerebral player, and I think that's what was missing from his game, because he's always had the physical tools. And so now he's a top 10 quarterback. Period. Exclamation point.
I have another theory for Jared Goff's growth. That's beef jerky. I think coming to Detroit, Ryan, he stocked up on the beautiful, wholesome, protein-packed, righteous felon craft jerky.
Well, I mean, only he could do that once he got to Detroit, because it's the same jerky that fuels the Detroit Lions at Allen Park, right, Chris?
Yep. It's at the training facilities at Allen Park, and it is also the official beef jerky of the Pride of Detroit PODcast. Each 2-ounce bag of jerky has 16 to 20 grams of protein. Each stick has 8 grams. That's a lot of protein, Ryan. That's just enough for Jared Goff to get it. Because, he was out in California, went to Cal. He's getting sunflower seeds out there. Granola.
Yeah. Some kind of soy substitute.
But you know what? He comes close to Detroit. He gets the Black Angus beef from locally sourced all-natural spots in Westchester, Pennsylvania. What was it, Jeremy? You wanted to be part of this read, too.
Did I? No, I was just thinking about what soy jerky would look like, and that disgusted me.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. That's why we have all natural Black Angus beef in this jerky with superior quality, revolutionary branding, and unique flavors that go beyond the stereotypical jerky offering. Trust me, if it's good enough for the Lions, it'll be good enough for you too. Let's make it even more gooder for you. RighteousFelon.com. Order online. Very easy. But check this. When you go to checkout, use code POD15 and it'll get you 15% off your order. Go fill up on the Korean barbecue flavor jerky, the turkey jerky, if it's there. The barbecue, the sweet heat barbecue flavor that's there, baby blues, habanero, biltong. You like the little dry stuff from South Africa? They got that too, and like garlic flavor and stuff. It's fantastic. POD 15.
I just want to say all that variety, Chris, right? Like, it is the holiday season. I mean, be that person. Turn into that person who buys the variety pack over at Righteous Felon, and those are stocking stuffers, baby. Be the person who gives out beef jerky.
The gift of meat. Code POD15 at righteousfelon.com. When we come back on the Pride of Detroit POD cast, individual performances, breakdowns, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into the defense, because I think there's some worry from fans, but there is probably a couple things they can clean up this season right now. We'll talk about that next.
All right. We made it to the first segment, and I didn't fall asleep, so it's great.
Let's get the Olive Garden shirt. I have to go smash an egg on my face here later, so I mean, I don't mind ruining that shirt.
I should also have Twitch pulled up so I can see what's being redeemed over there. I should also. Oh, now I can hear myself. That's great. Love hearing myself.
Let me reject. Did you ever wear the mozzarella shirt, or do I need to send this back?
When was it from?
3 days ago.
I believe I did wear it on the Madden Sim, so yes.
Okay, and I remember the Zazu cameo as well.
All right. Let's quickly go through some of the Twitch alerts, then we'll get to the donations, which a bunch rolled in, and I also see that Kyle D is in the chat. Hey, Kyle. And he took, I don't know, he took a look at this and was happy with the results. All right. But let's let me get to some alerts because we got a whole bunch. G-Man Twitch, thank you for the follow. TMCT, thank you for the 10 months subscribe to us over here on Twitch. No Decaf with the 51-person raid, and that's a great reminder that we do have a Pride of Detroit podcast pregame show over on Chris's channel. I guess he's up there in the screen. That's twitch.tv/nodecaf, NODEKAF, if you just can't wait until we get started.
That's right. Other days we sit around and watch football games too. So
true.
Come by when they're live.
Variety streamer. Scotch Voteri, thank you for the 8 months subscribe to the channel. VR Master, 14 months subscribe. So 7-2 baby. LFG. Yeah, I'm just gonna write what you wrote. I'm not gonna tell what that stands for. You can't trick me. Arnick, 34 months subscribe to the channel, says wasn't able to make it out to the game yesterday, but it was such a great win. Go Loins. If there's another game in California this year, I'm there.
Go Loins.
What's the likelihood? I guess I could play the 49ers in San Fran. I'm kind of hoping that one would be in Detroit, though.
Yeah, that game would be in Detroit.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the
no question.
You just come out to Vegas.
You just swinging it around right now.
Let's do this thing, dude. 7-2. Like,
let's do this. Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
To quote a post 2000s rock band, it's been a while.
It was 2014 was I think the last time, right?
7-2.
Yeah, but they weren't 8-2.
Do you know? Okay, yeah. So the funny thing is though, is that I think it was 2014 and 2011.
Yeah.
All 6-2 starts.
Right. And
at a minimum.
Right. And I think 2014 went 7-2. I was looking this up yesterday. But yeah, they did not go 8-2. So I don't know. I was going to look that up later in the week when the last time Lions went 8-2. Or I'm sure at some point someone's going to tweet it if they haven't already. But I think you might have to dig a little deep into the archives to find that one.
Yeah, 7-2. You're right. In 2014.
What was our over under this year? I think it was a 9.5. Was it 9.5 or 10.5?
Yes.
It was 9.5.
Yeah. Curious what it is now. 11.5? 12? 12?
I don't. I'll check to see if they reset those, but I don't know if they update those as the year.
You can always
I think
check
you
our
do-
good
you-
friends
you
at
do in- they do in
DraftKings.com.
season, actually, they do in season because I know someone I worked with was insistent a couple weeks ago that even at minus 250, Colorado under 5.5 wins was a very good bet.
While you look that up, I'm going to go through some more alerts here. Old Wolf, thank you for the 43. We're starting to get some big numbers here. 43 months subscribe to the channel, says 15-2. Let's go Lions. Sports Turf Pro, 7 months subscribe to the channel, says been waiting a long time for right now. We all have. Texas Wolverine, 22 months subscribe to the channel, says 22 months. You guys are the best. You're the Dan Campbell of Lions podcast. That is quite possibly the highest compliment you could give us.
It is an extremely high compliment.
Thank you so much, Texas Wolverine. Thank you for the 22 months of support. Speaking of 22 months of support, Big Daddy, also 22 months, says 2 years ago I was crying how bad we look. Now look at wait, hold on. 2 years ago I was crying how bad we are. Look at us now, Dad. Woohoo. Yeah, I mean, we're at this point where had those winning streak started quite yet? I feel like this was around the time that first, what was it, Packers win that started the whole thing?
Yeah, I think this was right around the time. I think it was right around this because, man,
It would have been.
it was after Halloween.
Yeah.
November 6th. Yeah, was the Packers win.
Okay, so yeah, we are now into the week 2 of the turnaround. It has been congratulations, guys.
This was our
we wiped over
today,
the anniversary of the new era Detroit Lions. We're now in the second year of it.
This day in history last year was the 31-30 win over the Chicago Bears. Very, very tight.
That game was crazy. That was the Jeff Okuda pick 6, right? Game.
Yeah. That was an outdoor game.
No business winning that game.
Yeah. No way.
But yeah, I mean, we are now a year and a week into the new era Detroit Lions.
Speaking of the Bears, I do want to ask a question to Ryan.
Okay.
Do you think the Giants can out-tank both the Bears and the Panthers?
Tommy DeVito is still having his mom make his bed and fold his lights and darts.
That is he has a touchdown pass in the NFL, Tommy DeVito, to you.
I will say yesterday while watching Red Zone, almost all of the highlights were the Giants playing from their own 1 yard line. Like I saw at least 6 or 7 cut-ins from Scott Hansen and being like, look at the Giants trying to get out of their own end zone.
Who was it? Someone was pointing out that the total now is 89-17 is the entire damage the Cowboys have done in 2 games against the Giants.
And you were scared to bet minus 17. I was not
minus
scared
16.
at all. It was 17.
Well, I
didn't
realize it went all the way down to minus 11 before kickoff, and I would have taken that on top.
Wait,
It was
what?
No way.
No,
it was minus
no.
17 when I bet it on
minus
Saturday.
17
was
and a
it?
half, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought someone had told me it had gone down. I'm an
Minus
idiot. Never mind.
to me, I like
Ignore me.
at first I did what you did where I'm like, okay, that's way too much for any NFL line. And then I thought about it for a second. I looked at what it was when it was in New York and they were healthy. They lost 40-0.
Division game. It's just the only thing I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're right though.
No, I didn't bet it. I made my pick for tally site.
On tally site, right?
I didn't bet. Relax, everybody. I didn't bet.
There's a good general rule of thumb when you have totals. And here's the thing, though, because offense is down so much in the NFL, but one of the betting rule of thumbs is like you see a total that's 40 or under. If there's like a double-digit spread, you're always taking the dog, like no matter what. Just because you assume, okay, lower total, double-digit points. So who do you think the asshole is that put the Giants plus 30 on a 13-point teaser? And that was the only leg that didn't hit. Plus 30.
Plus 30?
Plus 30. It was the only leg that didn't hit.
For how much?
Happy
I
Tommy
have to
DeVito
know.
Day.
I have to know how much the parlay would have paid out.
I don't want to tell you how much I wagered on it.
Okay, then just tell me the odds. Plus what?
So on DraftKings, another plug, you can do what are called monster teasers, and I think you can only do them for 3 or 4 teams, but it makes the odds minus 140. Yeah, 30 points couldn't cover.
30 points.
And there was part of me too, Chris, when I put it in my bet slip and I was just about to hit it, I thought,
Come on, Dave.
I don't want to have a reason to hate Tommy DeVito and think he's an insufferable loser.
I believe in Tommy DeVito Day. I believe it will come one day because Jeremy will eat that 4 corner calzone.
That's right. I don't remember what my agreement was. Was it?
No, it was to eat the crazy calzone from Little Caesars.
If what though?
If a Tommy DeVito led New York Giants team wins a game this year.
It was just wins a game. That was the bar I set this year.
That was the bar. If they win a single game,
I'll stick with that.
But Tommy DeVito has to start. DeVito has to start.
Yes.
I can tell you that Tommy DeVito will never win an NFL game. Never.
So if you don't know what the Little Caesars calzone, it's like an inside out calzone. I don't really like it went through
like a calzone crossed with a pizza. It's very bizarre.
It went through. It was someone decided to teleport a calzone to test if it could work on humans, and it came out the other end and did this. That's what a calzone is.
It got merged in the fly that teleported from the fly. Right. So looking at the Giants' remaining schedule, they are on the road at Commanders, Patriots, and then at Saints. Those are the 3 winnable games probably left, because otherwise they have Packers, Eagles, Rams, Eagles. The Saints are terrible, though.
Wait, who did the Saints just lose to?
The Vikings.
The Vikings.
Who'd they lose to before? Nobody? Like, this is the thing that we're doing. It's like the Vikings beat a team and then they're like, oh, they're terrible. Oh, the Falcons are terrible.
The Saints have beaten the Bears, the Colts, the Patriots, the Panthers, and the Titans.
Yeah, Call of Duty just came out. Kyler Murray came back for 1 game and won. So maybe the Falcons are in fact bad. And maybe also they just really miss Grady Jarrett in the middle of their defense.
This is awkward. We have both Kyles in the chat, by the way, now.
Hell yeah.
And
let them see where the love is.
I will say, Kyle Dominicantano, I think I nailed it there.
I think you did too.
Donated $100 to the Alzheimer's Association. Says, cheers to a great game, better cause, and amazing community. Keep rocking POD.
What is his what is his Twitch name? Is it
He's not in Twitch. He's on YouTube.
Oh, he's on YouTube, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, so we've got like a weird cross YouTube Twitch standoff going between Kyles.
That's true. I don't maybe they could never be on the same platform at the same time.
I've never seen them together in the same room.
It's true. But let me get through. We're not even halfway through the alerts, and we didn't even get to donations yet. So let me do that instead of talking about horrible Giants football. Kraft, thank you for gifting a sub to Brad Num. Key Rock gifted 5 subs. Appreciate that, Key Rock. Ryan in Toledo, 15 months subscribed to the channel, says 7-2, baby. Let's go. Let's talk about Dan Campbell's balls. You missed it. We already did. We got very graphic as well. So you're going to have to just go back and listen to that part. Papa Smurf, 7 months subscribed to the channel, says, is J-Mo the best blocking wide receiver in the league?
Hang the banner.
He's not even the best blocking wide receiver in the team. Ooh. He's a good one. He's very good at it, but amon-ra St. Brown is.
Well, amon-ra St. Brown's really good at everything, so
right. It's an unfair comparison.
Career high passing yards. receiving yards. I'm sorry.
I love J-Mo. I should stop saying things that could be perceived as bad about J-Mo. I love J-Mo.
Fair enough.
I bet J-Mo could name all of the receivers picked in front of him faster than amon-ra can.
I would think you're probably right. Uh-oh. Now both Kyles are on YouTube. Junk Trunk, 22 months subscribed to the channel, says 7 and 2. Crook, FTW, 36 months subscribed to the channel. That's 3 full years by my math. Thank you so much, Crook. McVeigh Rob, 15 months subscribed to the channel, says we're the true kings of the North. I'm not worried about the Viking pretenders. Okay.
Oh, Nightbot. Look at Nightbot giving out warnings to Kyle Barber. He's really pushing the limits on YouTube.
A quarter. Thank you for the 16 month subscribe channel. Says that game stressed me out, but a win is a win. That's right. Big Z Dubs, 11 months subscribed to the channel. 100 bits from Nick the Greek says Dan Campbell put Brandon Staley in a trash can and made disrespectful love to Mrs. Staley. I can't confirm or deny that whether that's true. Then he gave 2 bits and said Aaron Glenn has compromising photos of Dan Campbell. That's how he got the job. Piss tape stuff. Ron of Wireless Zone, 27 months, subscribed to the channel, says I love Panay and his violent intentions. He had a phenomenal game. JW Legina, 20 months, says if you hear the roar, it's already too late. Who said that? Was that that was Nate Burleson, I think. So I saw someone talk about that on Twitter. Like that was a quote from Nate Burleson at halftime. If you hear the roar, it's already too late.
Nate Burleson's just great, right?
He is. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Roper Ree, thank you for the 27 months subscribed to the channel. Dr. Detroit, 9 months subscribed to the channel, says, I wonder if the Chargers' media team was referring to Ryan and not JMO. The gambling joke in their schedule release video. And Dishnet, thank you for gifting a sub to Kyle. Just a random Kyle. So now there is someone whose Twitch name that is just Kyle who's subscribed to the channel.
How many Kyles do we have?
I think that was just them gifting. They're like, let me search a Kyle Adam and it'd be funny. And it was. I laughed. Thank you, Dishnet. Yeah. All right. Now we get to the donations. I didn't see where we're at total. We're at $11,400.69, of course, which makes us just under $600 away from a spin on the wheel of pain. Let me get to a bunch of the alerts that we got, a bunch of the donations that we got. I should probably refresh the list. Don't pet Kyle. There's no pet Kyle command. All right. We are going to start with Be True, 927. $50 donated to the Alzheimer's Association. Says, love y'all and love the Lions. Thanks, Be True. MCDC Forever, $100 donated to the Alzheimer's Association. Thank you so much. If you don't know, by the way, I didn't really explain this. This is our Movember campaign. We run it obviously all through the month of November. This year we're raising money for the Alzheimer's Association. If you want to give, you can make us do silly stuff. You can win prizes. Every $20 you donate is a raffle ticket to win prizes. Hit !Movember for all of the details there. And if you just want to go ahead and donate and you don't care about all that stuff, !Donate gets you a link for our specific campaign so that gets added to that total at the top. So yeah, just checking on all that sort of stuff and you'll see all the information. Generic media guy by day, GTA 4 NPC by night, donated $25.69, says, just learned that Aaron Glenn was the CEO of WeWork before joining the Lions coaching staff. I don't know what WeWork is. I feel like I probably shouldn't have said it out loud. And that feels like a very Nick the Greek type of donation.
Yeah, I'd be worried about getting clipped right there.
Okay. R&D Lion, $25 donated to the Alzheimer's Association. Wants someone to write anti-fragile on their face. R&D Lion, do you have a request on who that is? Let me know. Then Kyle D, the $100 donation that I mentioned before, says I already said his alert as well. A quarter, $20 donated to the Alzheimer's Association, said just want to say great work with the charity. I see a record year. We're on a very, very good pace. All thanks to you guys. So very much appreciate that. And all the support you guys are doing. You guys are the ones doing it. And I think there was one more. So let me hit refresh one more time. An anonymous $75 donation who says they want to change the background. And for some reason, it's not copying and pasting well. Okay, there we go. Let's see what you want the background to be. Whoops. It didn't work. Wait. Maybe it did.
R&D Lion says Jeremy has an open cheek. Is that in reference to you could always write on him some more?
It's true. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Why isn't this working? Oh, nope, that didn't work. Whoever gave that anonymous donation, maybe DM it to me somewhere, if you can. That link wasn't working. I haven't gotten it to work. So R&D wants it on my face. What was it again?
I'm sorry, what?
It was Anti-Fragile.
Anti-Fragile.
Oh, Anti-Fragile. Yeah.
I got it.
Just Insane. Yep, technically Jeremy does have 3 open cheeks still. Now he just says
3. Wait, what?
They're-
Oh.
His hind parts, Chris.
No, it. Yes, thank you.
I'm not writing.
When are we going to see you eat Olive Garden, by the way?
I need to work on that video still. Yeah.
Oh no, I screwed it up at the end.
I've shared some clips of it, but I do need to get the whole thing uploaded.
Oh, I just got super lightheaded for a second. Okay, we're back.
What have you had to eat today? Airplane peanuts?
I know. I did have some of those biscotti cookies or whatever they're called. Because how can you go on a plane and not get those? But I found a Einstein Bros at the...
Oh, you got a bagel with lox, didn't you?
I sure did.
Yeah.
I sure
Hell
did.
yeah.
A Victory
Great move.
Monday bagels and lox.
Power move.
Even if it was like $20 and airport quality.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was
Worth
going
it.
to say...
Worth it.
It was before you took off?
From the second flight, yeah.
Bold move to do that and get on a plane.
What, just with the breath?
I mean, just like the idea of like, could be bad fish because it's from the airport. You don't know the quality of it.
I suppose that's true. That's fine. MGO Quirk, by the way, thank you for the 30 months subscribed to the channel. It all worked out so far.
Dude, I really want a lox bagel now.
It's so good. Biscoff cookie. That's it. All right. I think we're caught up on alerts. Nothing left to attend to, except for figuring out the background thing. So, do you guys have an off-air topic, or should we could just jump right back into it?
I'm just thinking. I'm just looking around the rest of the NFL right now. But yeah, no. What were you gonna say, Ryan?
Sorry, no, I was just gonna. I was consulting the outline. So I was gonna. I mean, I would love to talk a little bit around the NFL real quick. If we can do like around the NFL in like 10 minutes.
Sure.
Where do you want to start, Chris?
Well, let's put the Viking stuff aside.
I got it to work. Oh my god.
I think a lot of us in the press box were watching that Pittsburgh Green Bay game because it ended so late. What else?
Yeah,
like, I mean,
what a dirty play by that Packers offensive lineman at the end of the game too. Just such a late hit.
I'm gonna stop my video.
I missed it entirely. Oh, Jeremy's doing something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too. This is now like 2 straight games now for CJ Stroud being awesome in ways that are.
Yeah, like he's like by far and away, and I don't think anybody would have guessed it, but he's like by far and away the offensive rookie of the year.
So people are starting to move him into MVP conversation too.
I mean,
it would be a first, wouldn't it? I can't remember last time we've had an MVP and rookie of the year.
Oh man, that's a good question.
Oh boy. Excuse me. You guys ready for the new background for the next segment? Because I don't think you're ready.
Let's try it. Why not?
Jim Brown is the only person to ever do that, Chris.
Jim
in
Brown.
1957.
Jim fucking Brown.
Only player to ever win.
Yeah, I don't think he'll
MVP.
win it. I don't
Only
think he'll
rookie.
win it, but I do think the conversation is legitimate enough. especially if they can
one
make
rookie,
this
wow.
close in the AFC South and get back in the picture there. And I don't know, Jeremy thought I was crazy looking at the AFC West. I guess we'll see tonight with the Broncos game. But I don't know. I have a problem, Ryan, in that I am surrounded by Raiders fans who are beyond delusional about what's happening with oh God, what's the fill-in? What's the
for the Raiders?
For the Raiders,
Antonio Pierce.
Beyond delusional what's happening with Antonio Pierce. Like the Raiders have now beaten both New York teams, and they're talking about playoffs, and they're talking about hiring Antonio Pierce full time because he just gets Raiders culture. Raiders culture is back, Ryan. It's back. It's the Raider way once more. Next game at Miami Dolphins.
That'll be a test.
That they will fail miserably.
Oh,
I
hey.
really wanted Zach Wilson to complete that Hail Mary. You don't understand. That would have been such a cool Hail Mary.
No, Chris, you know why, right?
I know. Who cares? Aaron Rodgers is on the juice. I don't give a shit what kind of drugs he's doing. Zach Wilson was being chased by a velociraptor that entire play. Max Crosby was on his ass the entire play. And if he still turned around and made that pass, that would have been one of the coolest Hail Marys of all time.
Yeah, in the moment, it would have been really cool. And then we would have had to suffer through a weak NFL cycle with Aaron Rodgers says this, and the Jets are maybe the sneaky favorite in the AFC.
God.
Totally understand that. But you were, Jeremy, you can't mumble about it because you were the one to say that you don't need to worry about the Rodgers anymore or the Jets. They can't hurt you.
Yeah. I'm not paying.
That's what-
I'm not paying it. Have I tweeted about Aaron Rodgers in the past 6 months? Probably not.
Somebody
I don't
fact check
think-
him.
Don't. It's been a while.
The problem is I couldn't win from that game because now I have to deal with Raiders fans in my life doing the same thing, thinking they have a shot with Aiden O'Connell and Antonio Pierce to make the playoffs.
And now you're going to have to deal with this.
What?
AI
It's
is,
Bears week, baby. Let's go.
I am ready to I'm ready to conduct the Butlerian jihad against AI. This is too much.
This kind of interspecies erotica is making me very uncomfortable. That's not what FTB is supposed to mean. Please stop
That's it
with
for the
FTB in
podcast,
the
everybody.
chat.
We're going to go out on that one.
All right, that's been the Pride of the Detroit PODcast. Thank you all for stopping by.
This is not what Dan Miller meant when he said you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
This is the not kind of uncomfortable. We did also get a $25.69 donation
Nice.
from Love
Nice.
Lion 69.
Nice.
Requested a writing on someone's face, and Ryan, he choose you.
They choose me. What do I write?
1-800-GAMBLER.
No, come on.
Do it.
All right, but I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna have a parlay for everybody. It's for charity, so
Yes.
Well, at least they know the gambling help hotline.
There you go. But yeah, we were talking about this on Chris's stream, but Ryan is going to offer up 2 different parlays for the game tonight. Chat is going to vote on which one they like the best, and if it wins, Ryan's going to donate all of the money to the Alzheimer's Association. So we need your opinion. You guys are part of this. Get the right one, and we donate to charity. Joshua,
So much.
I didn't even know you were looking to meet up with us until I was already in the stadium. And by then, he's
shitting. Joshua, maybe next time don't be hungover the night before.
I legit feel bad because if there's anyone that I want to meet that has been such a huge supporter of the podcast, not that my love for you is conditional on your supporting us, but yeah, I'd like to meet you, of course. I wanted to meet a lot of people today. I met up with one person.
Yeah,
who,
I felt bad. I had to burn both Josh Mercer and Dan Pask. And like the only person we met, Jeremy, was like that one guy who recognized us when we were going up to.
Yeah. Well,
I
ran into someone else, Ira. Yeah, because I got to the stadium way earlier than I needed to. I was there at like 9:30.
And I was like struggling to get out the door because I was panicking because my Google Wallet wasn't like I couldn't figure out how to get the parking pass downloaded onto my phone, because God forbid we allow people just fucking print their parking passes.
That's Chris yelling at the cloud.
No, but that's stupid, right? That's stupid.
No.
Let me print a parking pass.
Get with the time,
I will try. I do need to meet Joshua at some point. I do need to meet Joshua at some point since he is in the LA area. My buddy and I met a couple guys in the hotel and we strolled in later than we wanted to. Yeah.
Dan, who we also missed, 31 months subscribed to channel, says, sorry I missed you too, Chris, and you, Josh. Go Lions. Yeah, sorry, Dan. To me,
I know we were trying to meet up the night before with Dan, and like I just had too much work and my stomach was starting to kill me.
Yeah.
At that point too, so like but fuck. Oh well.
I had plans pretty much for the entire week since I lived in LA for so much, so I didn't have time to meet the days leading up to the game. The only time I really had available were the hours before the game, so I didn't make that clear to anybody, but
Shrew wants to cash his mute now.
Okay.
Apparently.
Who are we muting?
I guess me, because he said old man rant.
Is that I need a confirmation from Be True. Would you like to mute Chris for 2 minutes?
I can do more old man rants if you'd like.
And mute him in the middle of one? I know you were just joshing with us. I do feel bad though. I know there were a lot of people in LA that had reached out, and I spent like an hour or two just like walking in, but the setup they have for tailgating is actually really, really nice.
It is nice, yeah. SoFi repeatedly alternated between being nice and being incredibly frustrating to figure out.
Yeah.
Like on one hand, it is a beautiful place and they have a lot of parking because they took all of the parking from the old Hollywood Park Casino and racetrack. On the other hand, and I think I'm getting muted now, so mute me, please.
Okay, I was going to let you finish that sentence, but no.
You're mute me in the middle of my rant.
Oh, okay.
I'm also...
There you go. All right, so Chris is muted for 2 minutes. Someone had asked me what I thought of SoFi. I did go to SoFi 2 years ago for the Lions-Rams game, which was fun. It's phenomenal. I actually do have some of the same issues that Chris was talking about in terms of finding where I needed to get to. I took the elevator to the wrong level a couple times. I took just as long as Chris. I walked the wrong way around the stadium at the way end. So I pretty much walked the entire perimeter of the stadium before I got back. But either way, like, I don't know, one day I'd like to experience it as a fan to see, like, what the concessions are like, what it's like just to sit in the stands, all the other things you can do. It's kind of a circus, though, in a way, because it doesn't really feel like a football stadium to me. It feels like an entertainment building. There's a beer garden. I think there's like a dance floor. It was funny, and I was waiting for it to happen again this year, but it didn't. Last year, Dan Campbell's press conference was in a room. I think it may have been the same room it was in this year, but there was a door that kept opening in the back, and you could just hear the people partying on the other side of the door. And it was very, very funny. I don't know what Chris is saying right now, and I'm not going to try to guess. But I'm enjoying this. You have 44 seconds if that's what you're wondering. Oh, yeah, let's talk about the Colts and how awesome of an owner Jim Irsay is. Like, just one of the most level-headed, smart, and honestly, like, I think billionaires in this company deserve more credit. They're job creators, you know? They're helping out the little people in this country that need it. So shout out to all the billionaires out there. Why is he muted? Because that is one of the things you can redeem for your donations is you can choose to mute someone for a little bit. VR, did you have one VR? All right, that's your timer. You're good to go. You're free, Chris. Oh, you can unmute yourself, I think.
Yeah. I was just going to say it was happening. There was like someone running like a vacuum directly above us or something.
Yeah.
During the press conference.
That is true. And it kind of messed up my audio.
It is everything I've heard. It is a entertainment venue. And my friend Jonas likes to call it SoFi Gazebo because it's like the downsides of an indoor stadium, but it's also not an indoor stadium. Like rain poured through that opening last time they had like a big game there. They had a rain and thunder delay at SoFi Stadium.
Oh, by the way, RC Vader, I missed your subscription real quick. 22 months says FTB,
I was also trying
FTB.
to figure out what Jim Irsay did recently that I missed, unless you just talked about the Colts.
No, someone just said, let's talk about Jim. Let's talk about Chris's favorite team, the Colts. And so I don't
even want to talk about that 10-6 game that the Colts played. That was awful.
Who did they play?
The Patriots in Frankfurt.
Oh, right. Yeah, no.
I like how I had some guys at my other job complaining that we sent Chiefs Dolphins over to Germany. And it's like, oh, you sent a good game over there. Why? That should be on prime time here. And then it's like the next game we sent over is this Colts Patriots game.
Yeah, I don't know how they choose the international games, why they choose the I mean, the thing is now everyone has to do it, right? They're
right.
Every 6 years a team is going to have to do it. So you're going to run into bad matchups. It's inevitable, but
I do like that it is in Frankfurt. Like for people who don't know, there is a 50-year history of football that in Germany, thanks to Frankfurt. Like there's a lot of army people in Frankfurt and it all got started. God.
It's so good. I was at the lightning delay game Monday night against the Raiders. No rain in the stadium, though, says Dr. Detroit.
Yeah, I just remember there was like some pouring on the outside. I don't think it would pour inside, but like, yeah, they had that lightning delay.
Oh, geez. I didn't see all of these requests. Okay, so someone wants the Olive Garden shirt. Someone wants to ask ChatGPT something. Someone wants me to wear the mozzarella sticks shirt and a cowboy hat.
All right, let me go find the shirt so I can like get egg all over it later. Because I do know I need to crack an egg on my face later, right? You've had that one in the can?
Yes.
I do have eggs now.
Okay. Yeah. There's at least.
I mean, if we don't need to do it on this one. If that person isn't here, I want to make sure they're here for it.
I don't remember who it was. Let me go get the.
That's fine because I've got to clean up the rest of this apartment tonight,
and Caleb, I missed what you wanted for the ChatGPT thing. So let me know about that. I'll go get the mozzarella stick shirt now. Ryan, you're by yourself. Go say something.
Okay. Yeah. So let me talk to the people.
So that no one talks.
No, don't do that. That would not be a good use of our time. This is our time. So let's use this to our best advantage, right? In the chat, here's what I need. I need legs for tonight. What legs? What legs do you like tonight? Let me put that together. I think Jeremy explained it. Trying to put something together tonight for charity. You know what I mean? So give me your favorite leg from tonight. What's your favorite leg? And by leg, I mean your favorite bet for tonight, so I can put it to use.
Are we doing degenerate gambling for a good cause now?
Yeah, I'm asking for everybody's favorite leg tonight that I can put together in a parlay. Under on points, huh? Ooh, Dr. Detroit said Broncos plus 7.5 in the under. It's probably pretty juicy.
Big James. I hope there's a big James Cook tonight. Tonight. I really need him in fantasy. I'm finally getting a turnaround. I've had like 2 straight weeks where I've lost all 3 of my leagues. And right now I'm 15 points down in one league. And I have both James Cook and Cortland Sutton to play tonight.
And how many are you down by?
It is 102.7 to 87.8. I'm the 87.8.
Okay.
So I just need about 15 points tonight from the two of them. And he has no one else to play.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I've won my other 2 matchups. So I'd like to have a 3-0 week again.
I can't find the mozzarella stick shirts. I'm sorry.
Let's see.
Can't find either of them. So you'll get your money back, Jor. Cowboy hats on. We'll get Zazu in here. Did we get an answer to the ChatGPT thing? And I'm sorry, I'm interrupting if you were in the middle of the conversation.
No, you're fine. No, I don't know if we did, because I asked everybody for what their favorite leg for tonight would be, so I can put it in this parlay.
Ah, got it.
So we're just getting a bunch of degeneracy in the chat. I'm sorry for that.
That's okay.
Hell yeah.
I found what Caleb wanted anyway, so we're good. So keep doing that, and I'm going to see if I can get his ChatGPT to work.
Well, now.
Ain't this just something else?
Okay. Oh my god, it's so long. Okay, I think I made it work. So, Caleb wanted for ChatGPT to predict the second half of the Lions season.
Okay.
It wouldn't do it if I just said predict the season, predict whatever. It says, oh,
we can't do that.
So instead, I asked them to make a story about the second half of the Detroit Lions 2023 season.
It was a dark and stormy night.
And it did that. So, let's read what they had to say. In the second half of the 2023 NFL season, the Detroit Lions found themselves in a surprising position. After a challenging start to the season marked by injuries and tough losses, the team underwent a remarkable turnaround. Coach Williams, don't know who that is, rallied the players, instilling a renewed sense of determination and resilience. The team's practice sessions became more intense, with a focus on improving both individual skills and overall teamwork. The coaching staff implemented strategic adjustments, making the most of the team's strengths and shoring up weaknesses identified from the first half of the season. The first game of the second half saw the Lions facing a formidable opponent known for their strong defense. The Lions, however, unveiled a revamped offensive strategy that caught their opponent off guard. Quarterback Smith, who had faced criticism earlier this season, showcased his talent with precision passes, strategic decision-making. The game ended in a surprising victory for the Lions, setting the stage for a newfound sense of optimism amongst players and fans. As the season progressed, the Lions continued to defy expectations. The defense, once considered a vulnerability, transformed into a formidable force. Young talents on the roster stepped up, making crucial plays that contributed to key victories. The locker room atmosphere became more cohesive, with players supporting each other through the thick and thin. In a pivotal matchup against a division rival, I don't know why they're being so vague here, the Lions showcased their newfound resilience. The game went down to the wire, with both teams exchanging blows. In the final minutes, the Lions secured a game-winning drive that left fans in awe and opponents scratching their heads. The opponent propelled the Lions... The victory propelled the Lions into playoff contention, a scenario few had anticipated just weeks earlier. The final game of the regular season was a must-win for the Lions to secure a playoff spot. Facing a team with a similar record, the tension in the air was palpable. The Lions played with unmatched intensity, displaying the grit they had cultivated throughout the season. In a nail-biting finish, the Lions emerged victorious, clinching a playoff berth and completing one of the most remarkable turnarounds in recent NFL history. The city of Detroit erupted in celebration as fans rejoiced in the unexpected success of their beloved team. The Lions' 2023 season, once filled with uncertainty, became a story of resilience, teamwork, and the triumph of the human spirit. Coach Williams and his players became local heroes, and the roar of the Lions echoed far beyond the football field.
The
Who?
Brits? The Brits?
Coach Williams?
The roar of the lions? The British are coming. The
Roar
British
of the
are
Lions
coming.
UK. That's right. Oops, wrong. You're not Kyle. Why aren't? Can you? There we go. Okay, how's the leg of your parlay coming along?
I think it's done. I'm
Okay.
going to screenshot it and send it to you.
Okay. In the meantime, VR Master, $50 donated
Oh, look
to
who
the
just came in.
Alzheimer's Association. What did you want to redeem? Oh, what happened? Whoops, I accidentally opened up Epic
Why are
Games.
you? We're not playing games right now, Jeremy.
Oh, do you want me to be muted right now, VR Master, or are you going to save it for later? I would run through a wall for Coach Williams. Coach Jameson Williams? That was mute, I promised. During your tirade, I'll save it for later. Okay. I will mark that on my list of things that I pretend to consult but always forget about. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Did you send it to me, or are you still working it out?
I'm just sending it to you right now.
Got it.
Do. Sending it via
I'm sure.
Slack.
So, okay, I'd like to hear, because I know there are some people that were there in the chat. What was your thoughts on the Lions crowd there in terms of the noise, or even like the ratio? Because from the press box, it was really hard to tell. One, because the colors are similar. Two, because we're behind glass and the noise level is muted considerably. Obviously, they were really loud when the Lions came on the field. They were loud, I think, during a couple of those fourth downs.
Chargers were going silent count.
Yeah. They were, because I saw one
Like
of their
from the
guards doing
beginning.
a little arm thingy. Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to hear from people who are actually like in the stands and what they thought in terms of the noise level.
I do know that when Keenan Allen scored that last touchdown there, it did get very loud.
Yeah.
So point to the Chargers in that. I don't think it was complete. I think I saw some people saying it was about 50-50.
So this is the one we're going with, or this is one of the options?
Oh no, it's already placed.
It's our. Oh, okay. All right.
I was taking what people were saying in chat, and I just like took some of the ones that I thought were the most repeated or most popular.
All right.
So
Here's the 6-leg parlay. We need the under, which is boring to root for, but it's an alternate under, which this has got to be higher than the actual under.
Much
Over-under.
higher.
So under 51.5, over 1.5 Josh Allen passing touchdowns. James Cook 75 total yards, rushing and receiving combined.
Yep.
Gabe Davis over 25 receiving yards. Why does it say 25 plus instead of over 25?
It does it with the alternate ones.
Oh,
like notice
yeah.
how the alternate totals say
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but then the one under that for James Cook rushing yards says over 59.5.
Yeah. Let's say, James Cook 59.5 rushing yards and Josh Allen over 250 passing yards. Screenshot it, save it. Now you got something to root for. $95 for charity on the line.
Oh yeah, right. Everybody can root for that.
Absolutely.
Choose to root for that rather than having to.
Your boy Maroc, thank you for the 23 months subscribed to the channel, and we're caught up on everything. I think we're good to go. I think we should get back into it.
We should.
Segment 2.
We should.
Let's go.
Do it. Segment 2 time, y'all.
Right, Detroit POD cast. We're back at it, still talking about this Chargers Lions game. And I think we should get into some individual performances here in a little bit. Did we want to dive a little bit deeper on the defense and talk about kind of some of the shortcomings and the penalties, or would you rather, Jeremy, just go straight into like
individual
talk?
Let's not avoid the elephant in the room. Let's talk some
Okay.
defense. Let's talk about our maybe concern levels, all that sort of stuff.
I think that's a great way to put it, though. If you want to put it on like a scale of 1 to 10 as far as concern for the defense, would you like to do that for yourself, Jeremy?
Sure. Yeah, I'm probably at like a 7.5. You know, I think we all looked at this game as a big test, and you're wondering if maybe they had figured something out in the bye week. Maybe, you know, they had obviously a couple weeks to plan for this. Although I think that narrative is always a little bit overblown because the coaches are also leaving and enjoying a few days of their life. It's not like they're in the building every day of the bye week. But either way, I think a lot of people went into this game looking for some sort of sense of relief when it came to the defense, particularly the pass defense against a good quarterback, and you certainly didn't leave with it. And I think a lot of the concerns, anxieties that you might have about this team, their lack of a consistent pass rush, their ability to maybe get picked apart in terms of a young secondary that might not have a number one guy, all those things got exacerbated in this game. Aiden Hutchinson is the only guy in the defensive line who even registered a quarterback hit in this game. You know, Jerry Jacobs had an up and down day. I would say this maybe was Cameron Sutton's worst game of the season. And I think the frustrating part about it all is while this is a very good passing offense they win against, it wasn't a loaded offense in terms of weapons. This was a team that was missing their number 2 and number 3 receivers and will continue to miss those guys. And listen, if you have a good enough scheme, if you have a good enough offensive line, you have a good enough quarterback, you can overcome some deficiencies in your receiving core. And I think the Chargers might be good enough to do that. But it was certainly disappointing to see what happened happen. And yeah, like there's reason to have a major concern going forward that when this team is going to be in the playoffs, how can you be confident that the Lions are going to be any better? And the unfortunate part is I don't know if they have the opportunity to win our trust back in the regular season with just how poor their schedule is, because you know, if they bounce back and have a Raiders type of performance against Justin Fields and Jordan Love and even Joshua Dobbs to an extent, I think those sort of performances are going to get easily overlooked or easily excused because it's a bad quarterback you're going against. And so I don't know, man. It's disappointing, but as we kind of went through in the first segment, if you have a good enough offense, you're still going to be in games, whether you're going against a contender or not. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know.
Chris,
Ryan,
where are you at?
Yep. Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I think I'm about at a 6. I'll tell you what. I think there was some, and I'm not Mr. Let's talk about the referees, but some of the penalties did feel like backbreakers, especially the Cameron Sutton penalty that basically made it an eighth and goal from the 1 yard line that really like stymied. Like the Lions only needed one real break, and a lot of times they ended up shooting themselves in the foot with some of the calls that were going against them here. I also think that in the grand scheme of things, sometimes this is kind of what happens when you get into a shootout. And I've been really wary of taking this game to game just quite yet. On the other hand, there is a considerable lack of penetration that is happening that the Lions aren't really getting close to the quarterback at all. And again, part of that is Justin Fields is very hard to take down, but Justin Herbert is just difficult to take down sometimes. But yeah, it's like you would like to see a sack in a key position so we can like move along with it. And I feel like the Lions have invested a lot in their pass rush to make that a reality, but we just didn't really see that in the game. And more than that, just the amount of just poor performance from the linebackers on top of it, excluding Anzalone, but even Anzalone, I think, missed a tackle in this game as well, like is starting to show there are a couple weak points here that probably need to get buffed up here. And you've got at least some better teams to buff up against, but it will come back and be an issue down the road.
Yeah. I can't say that this game was like even worse fears confirmed, because I had this inkling, right? Like I feel like there was enough there were enough data points to suggest that the Lions defense wasn't exceptional, that they were, playing above their weight class a little
It does
bit.
feel like a regress to the mean, that they started really hot and it feels like this is coming back down to earth.
Yeah, and I mean that's all said for a team that, forced a turnover, right? I mean the interception by Kirby Joseph was an incredible play. And I'm not going to get into penalty talk really, but I mean, come on, a little bit of a ticky-tack call on Cam Sutton there on the goal line, for that pass interference call. So I think, while I mean there was a lot of bad, and you can't wipe all that away. So I guess, I mean, I think that my concern level would be at about a 5.5 or a 6, but I think it's so low just because, in the moment it felt like getting hit by a Mack truck, right? Because it's like, if this defense can just force a stop, like this Lions team, because here's the thing, it changed the approach to the offense. Like the offense all of a sudden was like, no, like we're going to score and we're going to keep scoring, because we know that no matter how much scoring we do, we probably need more.
Right.
Because as Jeremy said, and I tweeted it, like, I think it was right at the beginning of the third quarter, I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those games where it's John Madden analysis, but it's like the team that has the ball last is probably going to win the football game.
Right.
And I think just the Lions' approach changed. Like if they could have, I don't know, maybe stopped at any point in that, 5 straight drives of 5 straight touchdowns from the Chargers, they could have stopped them once, maybe twice. I feel like that's not a huge ask for a defense, but like they make that stop, Jeremy, and then all of a sudden maybe they just go into ground and pound mode where it's going to be a 9-minute drive of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and there's not going to be a damn thing that you can do about it. And you know what? Too bad you couldn't score, because that was your only shot.
Yeah.
Which is how I felt at the end of the game with the Lions, right? Where it's like a field goal is not enough.
Right.
Like that's why you have to be aggressive on that fourth down call, because you need 7. Because there was part of me that thought before the drive where the Chargers, where they scored, I was like, does Staley have the nuts to go for 2 here?
Right.
Because are you confident that you're going to get another shot at the ball?
That's a good point. The one thing I think to maybe pull this to a little bit more of an optimistic viewpoint on the defense is the one thing that we also need to consider and highlight still, is that the run defense is still very good.
Still very good.
And
still very good.
And that means something, because teams don't love to throw the ball 50 times a game. Even if they have a good quarterback like Justin Herbert. They still ran the ball a considerable amount in that game. And what that does, to me, it almost felt like a wasted down every time they did it, because they'd get 3 yards max. They didn't have a lot of runs that went for more than 4 yards. And when that happens, you are going to have opportunities to get off the field. The Chargers had 14 third downs in that game. They had opportunities to get off the field. Unfortunately, the Chargers converted on 7 of them, and then converted on all 3 subsequent fourth downs that they attempted. But if you can consistently get yourself in opportunities to get off the field, if you can consistently get into third downs, and because they have a good run defense, they will be able to, at some point, either you're going to get a stop or they're going to make a mistake. And so I think these stretches of 5 straight touchdown drives where every single one was 65 yards or more, those are going to be few and far between. That was a string of bad luck, but I just think we got to remember that they have a good half of their defense, and that's not something to forget completely.
I know I was talking with our first by guest, Kyle D. I'm still not comfortable trying to say his entire name yet. I'm working on it. And like he did say, one of the things the Chargers do lack is a receiver to really take the top off. So it really has to be these kind of short situations. It just feels like in this particular game, there was nothing that could be done about Keenan Allen, but they also, if you were stopping the run and they didn't have a deep threat on it, that was the game they had to play. And just in this particular case, they just matched up very well to just beat the defense over and over at that game. But again, I felt like the Lions adapt, and I don't know how much of this is portable to the next offering. What it isn't is I'm just not there with a lot of Lions fans that are still demanding that this all falls upon Aaron Glenn. And if it does fall upon Aaron Glenn, like there's nothing you can really do this year that would make it better either, I think.
Right.
Like it seems like some wish thinking, or that there needs to be a knee-jerk reaction change, and just let's
leave Aaron Glenn in LA.
No, let's not be silly.
Really quick, just the thing that I find kind of interesting about the whole situation was Dan Campbell's reaction to it today when asked like what went wrong, and he said it was a bunch of communication issues, which that to me is frustrating. That almost feels like a little bit of a coaching thing, that we're still talking about communication issues. And then he also mentioned both last night and today, like the whole no huddle stuff that the Chargers went into pretty much once they started to get things going. And to me, if like pre-snap motion and no huddle is enough to throw your defense off your game, that's today's NFL. Like that's what
the modern NFL.
That's how teams win today. That can't be something that suddenly breaks down everything you're doing on defense. You need to be better prepared than that.
To that point, like I know I was listening to Lomas Brown on the broadcast, and he was kind of venting a bit and saying like they're not doing anything extraordinary out there. That's what he said on game day. Right. And like again, Lomas is assuming it on the basis that this is the modern NFL. That's just stuff you do. Then there was nothing exotic from the Chargers. There was no specialized package for Justin Herbert to roll out, or for some weird end around stuff with Keenan Allen. It was a defense that just made their reads.
Yeah.
The quarterback that stood back there, made the reads, ran the routes, executed. I think we should talk about some other issues and maybe some individual performances. I feel like the red zone issues are a little bit overblown, Jeremy. And they went away pretty quickly after the start, after about the first half or so. What didn't go away was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
And we talked about this in the POD Direct, that the Lions feel like every week now with Jahmyr Gibbs, they're unlocking something new. And in this case, and I know I talked to you about it, and we were talking about it during the game, just the idea that they trust Jahmyr Gibbs enough to leave him in a red zone down, a goal line down, where they had been getting stopped several times, and just kept feeding it to Jahmyr Gibbs because they wanted to see how he could get the ball into the end zone. And he did get it in.
Yeah. No, I think it was Zach Snyder on Twitter who put it really nicely. The Lions upgrading from Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift wasn't just about getting two more talented players. It was about getting two players whose talents overlap more. It's about getting two players that can do everything. And so that if you put them both on the field, which I don't believe we saw one time on Sunday, unfortunately, it's not a tell. Or if a guy goes down with an injury, whatever. But yeah, if a guy goes down with injury like David Montgomery did, you can put Jahmyr Gibbs in the game and he can do everything that David Montgomery does, and vice versa. Because what's the one thing that you thought Jahmyr Gibbs that maybe David Montgomery didn't have? Explosiveness, big play abilities. Well, guess what? David Montgomery can do that too. And so now
75 yards.
There's so much overlap between those two, and so much talent between those two, that whether they're both on the field or not, you don't know what's coming.
Yeah. And to that point too, I mean, how many times, the past two seasons have we seen, or did we see, Jamal Williams on the field on first down? I wonder what's coming. Like there was a little bit of predictability to the Lions offense based on the personnel that was out there. And, Swift is in on third down. I mean, we kind of know what's happening at that point, right? Yep. And I mean, master disguise, man. Like I think that's what's going to make the Lions so dangerous offensively all the way through like January, right? Is that they're going to have an offense that can beat you in so many different ways. And maybe this takes us to our next point, Chris, but like maybe that's just what everybody is so hopeful for JMO, right? And you get that little glimpse of it, and then it's taken away by penalty. And it's like, man, like if those plays can happen though, right? Like if those plays can happen with JMO out in the field, like it's like who can keep up with Detroit? I think that's the question is who can keep up, other than, I mean, we've seen the Ravens do it, right? And we've seen the Seahawks keep up too. It's just like, man, like can those offenses sustain themselves into the playoffs and through the playoffs. Like,
Well,
how much of it is dependent upon player X, Y, or Z, where it's like Lions have a lot of guys without having a lot of guys. You know what I mean?
Well, you want to talk about having redundant parts and being able to keep doing things with multiple people. Like, it's not even like they're in a position where it really needs Williams to come online, because Amon-Ra St. Brown posts a career high receiving yards on Sunday with a long of 46 on top of it. Like, we don't bring up St. Brown a lot in these post games, because like, what else are we supposed to talk about that we haven't already praised St. Brown on at this point? But like, they have plenty of options. Like Khalif Raymond, I think, got in there. He had a 41 yarder as well.
That set up the game-winning score.
Set up the game-winning score. Like, there are plenty of ways this Lions offense is just really built to beat you, and adding Laporta to that mix too, and even still getting out to Brock Wright on a change down. Like, right. I don't think it.
Was there a single player that didn't have a big play in this game?
Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, but again, I think to Ryan's point, versus last year, where depending on the personnel on the field, you kind of knew what was coming. Now for the Lions, there's that level of just completeness and redundancy, and that gives a little bit of unpredictability on what they can really show you. Although honestly, they still need the ball going to St. Brown's hand a lot of times, apparently.
I mean, why would you not? I mean, to me, like,
how can you cover him at this point?
The second half of that game really felt like it was just Amon-Ra St. Brown going up against Keenan Allen. And if I could remove the nerves from myself in that moment, I would have just sat back and enjoyed what was two really extremely talented players at very different stages of their career balling out.
That's why it's the game of the year so far.
Yeah.
Like, I think totally to that point, Jeremy, like, if I wasn't, biting my fingernails and pacing,
right, I
probably would have been able to enjoy it a little bit more. And I think it'll be really fun on a second watch, obviously.
Yeah.
Just because the outcome.
Right.
But what about the catch by Amon-Ra? Like, just picking it right off the turf.
Yeah.
And then not just getting yards, but making a house call. You know what I mean? Like that. Come on, man. Like, the guy's on pace for over 1,500 yards receiving.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a guy who might catch 120 plus passes. Like, but where would you put him in the rankings of like the most important players to this offense, right? Because it's almost like, yeah, Amon-Ra is really important, and I don't know how they could maybe do without him, but like this, I feel like this offense still goes as Demo and Jameer go.
Well, I mean, if we're talking skill position players, yes, but to jump into car talk and quote Dan Campbell from today, the offensive line is the engine under the hood, man.
Oh man, hell yeah, brother.
I mean,
hell yeah.
It was phenomenal yesterday, and it was interesting because someone had put a list of all of the combinations of every team and how often they've been on the field in terms of offensive line, and the Lions didn't have a single 5 players who had played often enough to rank in the top 40 in terms of just amount of snaps that they've played together. But the one that had the most was this one that they have now. And this one right now also had the highest EPA in terms of their performance on the field. When they're on the field, the Lions were the most productive. And I have to imagine that EPA is a lot higher today as well. And so I think the Lions found the combination that worked. You kind of almost wish they had this combination from the get-go, but everyone's healthy now. You got a healthy backfield now. And I don't know how you stop this offense. As Chris went through it, like, they have just an embarrassment of riches. And when you have an offensive line that will give your quarterback time to go through his entire progression on a 4th and 2 to win the ball game, that's really hard to stop. And again, like, we have to underline, this was a good, at least on the edges, defensive line that I don't ever hearing Joey Bosa's name getting called once. I don't know what Khalil Mack's number is because I never saw him make a play. That's how good their offensive line was, man. And it's who's going to challenge them? Who is a defensive line that can challenge them right now?
The only Khalil Mack play I remember from yesterday was the one where Taylor Decker got a penalty.
Right.
But Chris, I guess
Yeah.
my question is, earlier when I said like the Lions have a lot without having a lot, I think I meant the Lions. Do we need to start talking about these guys being elite players rather than just like, oh yeah, they're really good? You know what I mean? Like, when
Yeah.
are we going to have the discussion about amon-ra St. Brown potentially being a top 5 wide receiver?
No, I just
Top 5. Woo.
I'm with him there. Just the work is there, the stats is there. It's just, once again, just because he's not a take the top off guy like a Tyreek Hill, because he's playing out of the slot. I think ultimately that bias will continue to be against him. Most people say, yeah, he's like really good, but until he's having the insane Odell Beckham Jr. plays or the, oh, look, Tyreek take the top off. Just
He made one. He made
Yeah,
one on Sunday where he picked the ball off the turf.
And
then
he almost had
scouted
that
for a
deep shot
touchdown.
too.
Yes, like
I know, but like it just feels like something eludes him
Yeah.
there. I agree with you, and I think he's elite. Let me just put it that way. I think he's elite, but I'm just trying to think, why hasn't he got that recognition? And maybe it's just because like he's elite among a extremely good unit,
I
and
think
everyone else in that unit is also really good.
I think part of it is just there's not a lot of sexy plays. It's just like he gets open for 10-yard curls. Like
and then makes a guy miss and then scores a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like he had plays where
There's
he
not
looked
enough
about
plays
as
like that,
fast
though.
as he looked almost as fast as Jahmyr Gibbs in some plays too, though. Like
Yeah.
he's got everything there for it.
I think he also kind of has that dumb stink on him when it comes to people's perception of, oh, he's a slot receiver.
Yeah.
He lined
Yeah,
up
that's
in
what
the
I said,
slot.
yeah.
He lined up in the slot 57% of the time, but like, I mean, that's not as decided as people assume. Like, I feel like people talk about amon-ra like, oh yeah, like he, like 9 times out of 10 kind of guy. That's not who he is.
Right.
He had 19 snaps in the slot yesterday, and he had 14 out wide.
But like would you put Keenan Allen below Amon-Ra?
Yeah, I
I'm not
would.
quite, I'm not quite there. But I do think he's a top 10 receiver, to be clear.
Keenan
don't
Allen
think
is
he's top
having.
five.
I think the thing is that Keenan Allen, like, this is probably his best career he's had in a while, and like he's doing it at like, what is he now, Ryan? 31.
Like, yeah, he's up there. Yeah.
Yeah, like he had a monster game, but like he's been a very Allen's one of those guys who's like, how does he keep doing it?
Right. But where else were the Chargers going yesterday? And why wouldn't they go to him? Right. That's not an amon-ra problem.
Right.
Amon-Ra's problem is that there's so many other mouths that can be fed,
Right.
and the Lions can be so unpredictable with their usage. You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me that amon-Ra couldn't have had 175 yards receiving yesterday if he was playing for the
close.
But isn't it even more remarkable that Keenan Allen is dominating when everyone knows that's their target? That's the guy you have to stop?
No. Yeah, but when you're putting Jerry Jacobs on him to do it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Someone is going to get the Jerry Jacobs fan club adding him all week now.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I think we put this game into perspective and talk about this picture that's unfurling in the NFC North. And really, I'm just going to say it, like, the Lions, this wasn't, I think, going into the day a must-win for the Lions, but I think with the context of everything, it does feel like the Lions won a must-win game, both for respect and for keeping pace in a divisional battle here that will start to unfold as we get into December. And really, we'll get back into defense a little bit and just talk about the schedule going forward. We'll be right back on the Pride of Detroit BOD Cast.
Boop.
Okay.
Top 5 might seem hot takey, but I'll make my argument. You guys do what you need to do. I'll put together some numbers.
So we got Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill.
Devontae who?
Adams.
Screen just messed up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm familiar, but I mean, I don't know. You can say he's talented, but like, you also have to put up numbers too.
Yeah, I guess, but like these quarterbacks, he's got. So okay, so let's. If you want to take Adams out for this year, so who we got? Like, I want to hear him.
Okay, but the thing I want to say about Devontae Adams is like, do I doubt that he would be a top receiver on another? Absolutely not. Like the situation sucks, but also, hey, buddy, you chose the situation. You wanted to go play with Derek Carr.
I want to play with Derek Carr, not Jimmy Garoppolo and Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, guess
Yeah.
what? You spent your entire career in a quote unquote like stable franchise like the Packers. I mean, is there a bigger, no pun intended, roll the dice than being like, nah, I'm going to go out to
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
I'm going to go play for Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr is going to be my quarterback. Like, super talented, but maybe your awareness rating in Madden needs to go way down.
No, I was just trying to build the list straight up. So we've got
let's
take Adams out. List. So Tyreek Hill, maybe like then
Jamar, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
I was gonna say AJ Brown.
AJ Brown's killing it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Those are all four guys that.
And then St. Brown will be at 5.
Definitely belong up there. Didn't say Stephon Diggs' name.
5 is hard, man.
I'd rather have amon-ra St. Brown than Stephon Diggs.
I think it brings you something completely different, and I agree. I would be curious. No,
We're doing a poll just between those two.
Oh man.
Stephon Diggs or amon-ra St. Brown?
Yep.
I think AJ Brown is definitely top 5. Someone is asking about it. Like AJ Brown's probably going to break that Calvin Johnson number in this along with Tyreek Hill.
AJ Brown might also have the best aesthetic in football right now.
That's important. It is very important, especially at receiver.
That guy, I mean,
you guys are crazy.
Similar vibes to like Michael Vick when he was wearing the dark visor. AJ Brown looks like the player
that's now the second time Michael Vick has come up today while I have been streaming.
See, this is why I can't trust chat, because the only thing that people are saying about Stephon Diggs is attitude, which means you can't be impartial. Give me play on the field. We're talking about who's a more talented receiver here. Although I did phrase the poll who you want, so I guess I understand that a little bit.
It is funny that in all of this too, I just want to bring this back to Ryan, and like I'm not saying you made a bad decision here. I just find it funny given the nature, and this is just how fucking brutal the NFL can be. We didn't think for a second about Cooper Kupp.
Well, give him more weeks with Matthew Stafford this year. What, they've had like one game together? Matthew Stafford just elevates everybody too.
I mean, yeah.
I'm talking more about the injury.
Puka Nacua would be a no-name if he wasn't on the Rams.
Oh boy, God, this is so good.
By the way, Jason Pierre-Paul to the Saints, in case anyone wants to continue to complain about the Lions not signing him. Oops. Anyways,
I like my defenders to have 2 hands.
Dishnet,
I can't find my mozzarella stick shirt, so I'm going to refund you. Anyways, I'm sorry. I derailed your thoughts.
No, I just wanted to say that I don't think that you're saying this, but like I don't want to be reading too much into it. But saying that Amon-Ra St. Brown is better than some of these players isn't a dig on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. You're saying
I'm just saying Amon-Ra St. Brown is really freaking good. Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean,
is it just that he just has to have a blow up game where he hauls in like 3 touchdowns or something? He just has to have like just a psychotically like big game, and then we'll finally admit it.
Kind of. I mean, the fact that his career high was 145 yards
red zone channel game then
shows that he can take over games, but not on the level that some of these other guys can.
But I don't think the Lions can do that. I don't think the Lions want to do that.
They probably don't.
So I mean, like, is he?
You're just saying the opportunity has never really.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. The opportunity hasn't been there.
It's tough, right? Because yeah, everyone's in a different situation with a different quarterback, a different scheme, all that sort of stuff. Everyone's environment, everyone's context is different. And so could Amon-Ra, if he was the only guy out there for fill in the blank, if he just traded spots with
Diggs?
Sure, Diggs or
with Diggs.
I'm trying to think of the guy that we just played that my brain is Keenan Allen. Like if he just switched places with Keenan Allen, could he have like 200-yard games on the regular?
Herbert would love a guy like St. Brown.
Maybe.
I think, but it has to be the same situation though, where it's like, Keenan Allen with no Mike Williams and no Josh Palmer.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you are the guy.
Yeah. And
you have to be with a good quarterback. So like there's not too many situations I think you can switch that out.
Right.
I will say that probably Diggs is better suited for Buffalo than Amon-Ra would be suited for Buffalo.
Okay.
Maybe Josh Allen would turn the ball over a little bit less if he didn't have a deep field, a downfield threat like Diggs, right? Like if he's throwing more because I think that's the knock too on Amon-Ra, right? Is that his ADOT is like way lower than any of these guys that we're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like his ADOT is, I think it's like sub 8, right? And my goodness, that puts him among qualifying receivers, puts him way down there.
Yeah, like the 120s or something probably.
Yeah. If you had a guy who at least 48 targets this year, Amon-Ra's ADOT is 44th in the league. But his yak, he's 6th in the NFL in yak.
Justin Sane was ahead of you on that one. He says, what is yak though?
Yeah.
YouTube is letting us know Call of the Games is going to be up in about 3 minutes. Do we want to stick in? I don't want to go too late because I am kind of actually getting really tired.
I noticed you looked like you were falling asleep in the middle of me talking at one point.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'm just having a real bad downturn. Maybe I just need to get some cold brew. But I do also have to clean up my apartment for
Let's do this then. We'll watch Calls of the Game together, and then right after that we're jumping into the final segment.
Okay, yeah, and I'll just have to do the egg on my face another day after I've got this place cleaned up.
It's a weird day here where we're all.
I figured you'd be tired too.
I am. Don't get it twisted. I am tired. But anyways, thank you for the £2. Damian Smith says Cooper Kupp is $26 million a year. Is that what you're getting paid? Oh my God, my computer is bugging out for some reason. Wait, why? I don't even see it available to watch live. It's supposed to be at 8, right? Calls. Oh, there it is. I found it. All right. Share screen. Oh, wait. I did the wrong one. Share screen. Calls the game. Boom. Share sound. Boom. Okay. Boop. 8:03.
I did have a earbud in my ear listening to Dan during this game, so
you've heard a lot.
He had some moments. He had some good moments here.
And as Jill pointed out, we are $398 away from a spin on the Wheel of Pain. I will promise if we get there, we'll do that one tonight. Some of the other stuff we'll probably save, though. What do you think of 97-1 and them being Sparty Slappies? Whatever.
Redoing this.
It's
had enough of this versus Michigan State stuff for one fucking year.
All I know is that we're America's team now. So.
Oh, but you're not, Jeremy, because Mina Kimes today said that the Minnesota Vikings are America's team. And
what?
I think she went down one notch in my power ranking.
Dang, we got to rescind her invitation to the marathon stream.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the watercolor. We'll call you.
Where's your watercolor of Josh Dobbs?
Get some coffee.
She's probably like making one right now.
It's like check Twitter. Oh, 34 minutes ago.
Yeah, right. I know she does it a lot, right? And the Peninsula one, obviously awesome. I also really like the. I always forget the bowler's name. The Who Do You Think I Am?
Pete Weber.
Is that who it is?
I think so.
Yeah. Who do you think you are? I am. She did one of that too. It was great. Pete Weber. You love the YouTube pre-live music? It is kind of interesting that it's always the same, right? I never watched like live YouTube, and so when I saw the Lions do this, I'm like, oh, this is kind of a neat creative thing that the Lions did. It's like, oh, yeah, this is just YouTube.
It's like, look at them use this carefully selected licensed music.
Pete Weber's your favorite athlete of all time? I almost just drove us into a conversation about whether a bowler was an athlete, but we got 8 seconds here, and let's not go down that road.
There's a kid I went to high school with who became a professional bowler.
Really?
Like won like rookie of the year on the
There's
PBA
the
or whatever. Yeah.
Snap back and looking a lot of time. Throws deep down the middle, got a man wide open.
That's amon-ra.
Amon-Ra St. Brown inside the 25, inside
Top 5
the
wide
20,
out.
inside the 15, and finally shoved out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
I'm glad Dan is saving
Here
his
come the
energy
Lions
here
now, first and goal
because he
from
has
the
no
2.
idea
They
what
give
he's
it
in
to
for.
Gibbs. Right,
There it
left,
is.
into the end zone.
Yes, sir.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. With Big
Thank you,
Jonah
Lomas.
Jackson back and leading the way over the left side. Herbert up under center, fakes the give, boots right, being blitzed, throws, and it is picked up by the Lions. Don't know if they got 2 feet down. It is intercepted in there by Kirby Joseph. They say yes, good pick. Kirby with a big-time grab, and the Lions with a takeaway. It was built off the pressure, though. Alex Anzalone
like
in there on Justin Herbert. He had to let it fly,
Pressure,
and as he did, Kirby
Anzalone.
Joseph
Pressure.
came away
This is
with
pressure.
it. Goff takes the snap, turns, gives to Jameer,
Yes.
fighting right side into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Big guys doing work up front. Patient run by Gibbs that time, and he finds the end zone, and the Lions increase their lead.
And that's what I'm saying. When you got over 1,000 pounds of human being up front, get that push. Push those guys off the front line. Let your running back get right behind them. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
On 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Jared Goff moves in behind center. He'll take the direct snap from Frank Ragnow. Single back is Montgomery. Goff gives it to Montgomery. Cutback lane is there. Gets to the 35. Gets to the 40-yard line. Cuts it left to the 50. There he goes left sideline. Outside the numbers. At the 40. 35. To the 30-yard line. Runs inside the 20. 10.
Yes!
5. End zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Yes.
I
Jameson
love
Williams
Lomas's
with a big
controlled
block
yes.
to help spring him. And how about these Lions?
I'm really enjoying the
Goff out of the
spotter
gun.
and all like the
Jared's
symbols
got
he's
it,
doing.
back and looking, throwing. Amon-Ra, first down and more. Inside the 40, inside the 35, right sideline at the 25. Pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Goff works out of the gun. He's got it. Quick throw left side. Got to complete. Amon-Ra needs a block inside the 15.
He's got
to
it.
the 10-5. End zone.
I can't believe how
Touchdown,
clean that
Detroit
play was.
Lions.
Didn't even get touched.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
And
Big
who
stuff,
saved it
man.
from disaster? A top 5 wideout.
Montgomery in there at running back. Goff up under center. Goff turns, fakes the give, sets in the pocket, throws down the
Here it
middle.
is.
Caught. Yes. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Brock Wright. Who? Brock Wright. Oh, baby. Hard run fake.
Heard that one
Goff
live.
came
That was
up
great.
throwing 89 straight up the field, hauled it in, and took it to the house. Goff up under center.
I love that
Montgomery,
his
single back
name is
behind
just a
him.
meme.
Goff turns, fakes the give to Montgomery, wants to throw, does left side, got it complete. That is Khalif Raymond. There he goes up to
There's
the
Ben
40,
Johnson.
45-yard line, 50, into Charger territory, cuts it back, and he's ripped down and taken down at the 35-yard line.
That looked like such a
4
violent
and
tackle.
2
Yeah.
for the Lions. There's the shotgun snap for Goff. Back, looking, throwing, caught. First down to the 20 and down to the 19-yard line goes Sam Laporta. Hey, rookie, you just came up big, man. You
Where's
just
Lomas on
came
that
up
one?
Big.
He's already down.
Here
He
we
has to go down
Final
for the
play of
post-game
game.
show.
Oh, that's
Lions
right.
going
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the win. 41-yard field goal attempt. Hash mark left side. McQuaid to snap. There it is. Fox the hold. Patterson the kick. It is up and it is good. He got it. That's a victory for the Lions on the final play of the game. And what a game it was. Back and forth they went. No separation between these two. And Ronnie Patterson sends it through to secure a 41-38 victory for the Lions. That is big-time stuff.
So good. So good. We're going to have to make a post on that for tomorrow. Love it.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
A lot of spotter action there. Oh, God. Still playing.
A lot of gifted subs right there. Jeremy.
Yeah, that was kind of perfectly timed by Lion in London for the air horn to go off
The
just as
field
that
goal,
kick was
yeah.
going in. Oh, God, how many? I thought that was 5 at first. Is that 10? Is that more than 10?
I think it was. Yeah.
10. 10
No,
gifted
10.
subs.
Yeah.
Also resubscribed for the, oh God, it scrolled out. 38 months. It says go freaking Lion in London. Thank you so much. We also, I believe, got a big donation in there as well. Where is my stuff? $100 from Dr. Scissorgy, who I know personally. Says good work as always. Thank you. Appreciate you. That puts us less than $300 away from a spin of the Wheel of Pain. Let me also check and see if that was redeemed for anything. It sure was. Egg on the head. Let me know who you want it on. I think we're going to pass on doing it tonight, just because we're all a mess right now. But let me know who you want it on in the chat if you're in the chat.
Speak for yourself.
You're going to start being a mess in about like 20 minutes with your bets.
Oh.
And then
Yeah,
Toxic
and with
Fan
that
with
being
27
said-
months.
Yeah. 1-800-GAMBLER. You have a problem.
All right. Oh, we're in the wrong off-air thing. There we go. Either way. We good? Okay, it has to be me. We'll save it. We'll save it for another time, but I'll take
All
it.
right. Ready to go segment 3?
Yeah.
I'm ready to go segment 3.
Let's go.
Pride of Detroit POD cast. One of the things that became evident, what made this game so important between the Chargers and the Lions, was what happened actually just finished right before, and I actually think it might have kept going a little bit after Chargers Lions had started. So obviously Lions know nothing about this. I don't think they'd care either way. They just have to take care of their business. But the Vikings did stack another win this week over the New Orleans Saints. Now, the New Orleans Saints lost their quarterback, Derek Carr, in the midst of this game, and that gave them Jameis Winston, who Jameis Winston defenders will tell you, yeah, it was 21-7 when Jameis Winston came in, and he almost got them back in the game. I would say Jameis Winston also threw 2 picks that basically cost them a victory there as well. The point being, though, is that the Minnesota Vikings are not going to stop their role anytime soon just because of no Kirk Cousins. They have now won 5 straight games. They're staring down next week a Broncos team, and then after that, the Bears, the Raiders, the Bengals. A lot of those are road games, but that is their schedule up until they get into the Lions. And of those, there's not a lot of games where I can really count out the Vikings except for maybe the Bengals, but also the Bengals just lost a game in a really back-breaking fashion this week as well. So much like as the Lions are entering an easier part of their schedule, so too are the Vikings. And it's going to be a matter of who holds serve, if the Lions can hold serve in the NFC North, if they can continue to control their destiny, control their fate, and beat teams in front of them. That's not to say the Vikings are going to catch up to them or anything of the sort, but it does mean that there is a little bit of a race, and that those last 3 weeks where the Lions and Vikings play each other 2 times does take on a little bit more importance depending on what happens between now and about a month later, Jeremy, in that this game you didn't go into today thinking this was generally a must win, but I would say I am very glad they did win this game to take some of that pressure off their back.
Yeah, it's
people are starting to talk about the Vikings.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of us looked at the Chargers as the Lions' biggest tough biggest test remaining on their schedule, and you clear that, and so now, the Vikings have really.
Cowboys.
I think the Chargers are a better overall team. I do.
I agree with him on that.
But I mean, the Cowboys are certainly the biggest now, right? They're the next guy that stands up. We can all agree on that. But Vikings have a very favorable schedule. Lions have a very favorable schedule. I think at the very least, we're almost guaranteed that first Vikings game is going to mean something. Because I mean, I said it last week. I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. I was completely wrong in the offseason. This Vikings team is legit, and by legit, I mean a legit contender for a playoff spot. I don't think they're a legit Super Bowl contender. Certainly not with a backup quarterback that is just now learning the offense and all that sort of stuff. And again, I'm not gonna sit here and proclaim that Josh Dobbs is going to be their next franchise quarterback. I'm not gonna sit here and say he's going to win comeback player of the year, although maybe he might. But
he had some bad games with the Cardinals though. And
right,
it's more than likely he can have a bad game coming up here with the Vikings.
But I think it goes to the point I was saying earlier, and I don't remember if this is on the podcast or in the in our off-air segment, but if you surround someone with enough workable parts, you can produce an efficient offense. And the Vikings have a really good tight end TJ Hawkinson's playing his best football right now. They have an offensive line that is a top 10 unit. They're going to get Justin Jefferson back. They have Jordan Addison, who's a productive young receiver. There's enough pieces to that puzzle. I said it last week that if you put in an average or even a little bit of a below average quarterback, you can still be productive. And I think the scary part for me is the defense. This has become a well-rounded team. Their defense is playing out of their mind right now. And I think they're probably in for some regression right now, but I think this is just a very well-coached team. I think Kevin O'Connell is a smart offensive mind. We all know Brian Flores is a good defensive coach. They are 8th in defensive DVOA right now, after being one of the worst defenses in the league. So again, I think they're probably not that good. I think they're going to regress at some point. Not anytime soon though, because they're playing a lot of crappy football teams. So I would say they're an above average team. And the Lions don't have a lot of above average teams on their schedule. So those are going to be battles. Those are going to be close games. Those are going to be games that the Lions have to win, and they have to prove that they're capable of beating those types of team anyways, to prove that they're more than just a one and done team in the playoffs. So, giddy up.
Oh, it's a race now, huh? Okay. Well, so here's what's also interesting too, I think, about the Vikings, because they're definitely better than, like, not just we thought, right? Like, their expected win-loss based on the Pythagorean formula on PFR, 5.6 to 4.4 wins. That was the expected win-loss for this team. Like, I mean, they're really punching above their weight, and like Jeremy said, like, they've won. Is that 5 in a row now?
Yeah,
5 in a row. Yeah,
off?
after starting 4-1. Yeah,
1-4.
Yeah. So yeah, with, I don't know, like, still, I don't like the Saints again. Like, it's not a good football team. I need to see them play a good football team, and that's, Jeremy, to your point, right? Like, they probably don't play one until middle of December when they play the Bengals on the road.
Right, but they beat the 49ers. Like, their resume is almost kind of like the Lions, right? They have one really, really good win on their resume. It's a bunch of then mediocre to bad teams that they've beat up on, and they've lost to some really good teams, and maybe one bad team. I think they have one bad loss on their schedule. I don't remember who it was, but
they've lost all 4 games by about 1 score. I think their largest margin of
no,
loss
I mean,
was
but they've lost to a bad opponent. I was saying, so like they lost to the Bucs.
They lost to the Buccaneers. I guess.
Yeah.
Also lost to Chargers if you want to do transitive, but
Yeah, I just, like, I think it's going to catch up to them, because, like, check this out. So, like, they came out blazing hot, like, the first half of that football game.
Yep.
Like, that's where Josh Dobbs captured the heart of every American. Here are their second half drives. They scored on the opening one. They had a field goal, and then it was 9 net yards and a punt, 17 net yards and a missed field goal, and then punt. couple of drives in there where they had -2 yards. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's going to balance itself out at some point. I do think, though, are you guys ready to play the Vikings 3 times in the matter of a month?
That
maybe.
I think you're right. I think that's what we're barreling towards, and there isn't another NFC wildcard contender. There just isn't. The Saints we all agree are bad. The Falcons we all agree are bad. The Rams could, I guess, potentially turn things around once Matthew Stafford is in the lineup, but I'm not banking on it, especially since they have to play the NFC West, which means they're going to tally some more losses to.
It would have to take a
Seahawks
collapse
and
from either
49ers.
the Cowboys or the Seahawks to give up another wild card. It does feel
Right.
like we've got locked in Cowboys, Seahawks, Vikings.
Yeah. And so unless the Vikings somehow steal a higher seed than 7, or the Lions aren't the 2 seed, maybe they're the 3 seed, maybe they're the 1 seed.
Right now, there's only one team that's not in the playoffs. That with in the NFC, there's only one team in our current playoff picture that is not in the playoffs, but still has a positive point differential, and that's the Buccaneers at +5.
Yeah,
At just +5. Meanwhile, Seahawks are in the playoffs with a -1. But that's everyone else. My larger point is that everyone else, their point differentials, Ryan, look really bad. They've been getting there is a massive class divide between the uppers, the haves and have-nots of the NFC right now. And the Vikings are in the former.
Yeah. I guess it just speaks to the I don't want to say weakness of the conference, but
Top heavy.
Yeah. I think it is a really top heavy conference, but I think it's nice to say though that, like, come Thanksgiving time, I think maybe you might be making a case that the Lions deserve a seat at the table with the Eagles and the 49ers.
Well, let's look at the schedules as we're going forward, because one thing I should note for the Vikings is they might start to play some teams that might have a few more stakes involved, especially where they have to play the Broncos and the Raiders. And I'm not sure. Well, we'll see, I guess, here. The Broncos are about to take the field for Sunday Night Football. I'm curious how much that AFC West picture shakes itself out. I know Raiders fans are still riding high after beating 2 New York teams, which seems ill-advised when they have the Dolphins coming up next. But, Raiders could still be playing with passion against the Vikings later this year. For the Lions, next up is the Bears, and then Thanksgiving for the Packers, and they'll take on that self-same Saints team that the Vikings beat up on. So as we look towards the Bears, I'm trying to think of something to say that won't sound disrespectful to the Bears, which I would never want to be disrespectful to the Bears at all. I would never want to put on a luchador mask and just start ranting and raving about how Chicago can fall into Lake Michigan, and as far as I care, and that god-awful team just finds itself out in, like, I don't know, Iron Hills, wherever they want to relocate to. But by all means, Jeremy, going from the Chargers to the Bears does feel like the Lions can't let up any kind of mistakes, but at the same time, it's hard for me to get my heartbeat going above Country Trail for Tyson Bagent and the Chicago Bears.
Well, they might have Justin Fields back. I think that's, if there's one thing to get the heart rate going a little bit, it's that the Lions haven't defended Justin Fields very well. And what has given you confidence that they can handle a mobile quarterback so far this year? Not a lot.
But
right?
I also don't think this is the Justin Fields that was running over people versus last year either.
I mean, we'll see, right? He's coming back from injury. They might be getting a couple other players back. They've had a long week, having played on Thursday, to develop some sort of game plan for him if he does indeed play this week. So, I mean, I don't know. I never take division games lightly. I never take division games with a dangerous on-the-ground quarterback lightly, given the history of this football team. And so, I'm not gonna sit here and say my knees are shaken for the Chicago Bears team. I think the Lions offense matches up pretty darn well against them. I think they're like 29th in DVOA in terms of defense. So I don't know. I mean, the Lions, this is just the beginning of the Lions needing to take care of their own business and not overlooking their opponent, not underestimating their opponent. And under Dan Campbell, that hasn't happened. I mean, The really only bad loss that they've had since this year turnaround, dating back to literally a calendar year, is that first Carolina game. Everything else has been dominant, especially this year. Like I think it's important to underscore how much they've dominated bad teams this year and not even made it close. I mean, the closest game was probably the Raiders game, and they dominated that game. They just had some dumb mental mistakes. And so as long as Dan Campbell can keep this team on the right path mentally in terms of not overlooking their opponent, I'm not going to be scared of the Bears this week.
I don't think I'm scared of the Bears either, Ryan.
Yeah, no, not scared of the Bears because the offense just can't keep up with Detroit's.
Right.
And I think maybe even last year, right? Like there was still a maturation process, but like I think that the two backs just make such a big difference in terms of just taking the offense to the level that it wasn't quite at a year ago.
This game's going to need a lot to demo too, right?
Oh man,
yeah. Well, I think that's a really good point in that having both running backs mature, not for this game against the Bears, but against the Bears in the 10th, where you have to play in Soldier Field, which is the only cold weather outdoor game the Lions have on their schedule to play.
Yeah, exactly. So, as far as the Bears go, though, like if we're gonna talk like tinfoil hat kind of stuff, like, do you think that they're just gonna be as careful as they can with Justin Fields?
Well, I don't know because I feel like they have to figure out what they want to do with Justin Fields. They need to.
Are they trying to tank?
I think they figured it out.
You think they're done?
Oh yeah.
I don't think that decision has been made.
I think that if you have a pick that they're gonna have, right? Like they're gonna have a shot at a quarterback. Maybe it might not be their guy, right? Like maybe they might not get the first pick, but like statistically speaking, they're probably going to have the second pick somehow, some way.
Sure.
And like you're gonna have a choice at one of the top quarterbacks, and
probably at a top weapon to go with it.
But I think it might be like a clean house situation. Like I would be shocked if Eberflus is the head coach of the Chicago Bears next year.
I would not, just because given their ownership and their habits and the fact that they still don't have the money for owning their own stadium. But that's the only way I can see Eberflus keeping his job. Like every other rational owner should be like, yeah, we need a clean house. This is not working with Poles and Eberflus.
Maybe even Poles might get a little bit longer of a leash, but like this might be the, think about it in Lions terms, right? When Bob Quinn was still holding on to Jim Caldwell, it felt like that was biding time for him, right? Yeah. As soon as he made that decision, then all of a sudden the clock was ticking on Bob Quinn's time. I feel like for Poles, like it has to be calculated, right? But like if you move on from Eberflus, you're probably taking a quarterback, and like that's going to be the new delineation of, hey, okay, now the clock is starting on you.
Right.
And it's
I feel like nobody's. I don't know if any clocks start until they get Arlington Heights figured out. But yeah.
But I think that I feel like if you're Poles, right, it's like now's the best time for me to pick my guy. Yeah. I'm going to pick my quarterback, and I'm going to hit reset on the thing because there might be pressure. But I think all that is beside the point. Like whether Fields is on the field or it's Bagent, I don't think it. I don't know if it moves the needle that much.
No,
for me,
because they also can't. Well, they actually can run the football a little bit, but that only plays into the Lions' strength anyways. So, I'm not scared of that. Before we get out of here, I don't know if this has to be a weekly segment or anything, and I guess a lot depends on how the rest of the weeks play out. But can we talk about like the realistic level of being the 1 seed? Because the Lions just got over a major hump. Their offense, to me, looks capable of being the best offense in the league. Like that's how well they played on Sunday, and they're healthy still. And that Eagles, they still got a gauntlet to go through. And I know they took it to the Cowboys last week.
At Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, at Cowboys, at Seahawks. I think the Eagles are that good that I don't think Do you want a percentage chance they take the 1 seed?
Whatever you want to give it in. I don't care. I think we should have a discussion.
I'll give the
on it.
Lions 30% chance.
Okay.
I think I kind of want to make a bold proclamation.
Let me hear it.
I think that the 49ers have a real shot at getting the number 1 seed.
Ooh.
The 49ers.
The pendulum on that team is swinging the other way now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, they play the Bucks next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then they play
In
at Seattle. Yeah, on a short week. They play on Thursday, on Thanksgiving. And then they get a little bit of rest before they play Philadelphia, and I think that matters.
Yeah. And then they play Seattle again.
They do. They still have a game against the Cardinals, though, and they still have a game against the Commanders and the Rams.
They have the Ravens in between those two. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But here's the thing, though. That game yesterday against the Jaguars was, the 49ers are they still belong.
Yes.
In that pantheon.
100%. Like
34-3 on the road.
I just wonder if they've dug themselves into too big of a hole with too tough of a schedule ahead. Those are not easy late games to be had. Ravens and Seahawks twice, and you said
for sure
the Eagles as well. They play each other. Is that what you said or no?
Yeah. Yep. They play the Eagles.
So
49ers also has to play the Ravens too, which I know the Ravens just took it on the chin this weekend, but I mean I'm not downgrading the Ravens at all.
To me, the fact that the 49ers and Eagles play each other is hugely in the Lions' favor. And I just wonder if the 49ers have already dug themselves too big of a hole, because I think 14-3 might have to be the record that you're going to have at least a 14-3 record to win the division, which means the 49ers have no margin for error. None.
Yeah.
They would have to win out, I think, to get the 1 seed.
I think the Eagles tight ends their senior defensive assistant, Matt Patricia, just might cause the bottom to fall out.
With that, we're going to get out of here. Unless
I don't want to talk about football anymore.
Okay. Well, great.
Ryan ruined the football.
Ryan killed the podcast, everyone. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been donating to our charity drive for Movember for the Alzheimer's Association of Michigan, and everyone who is preparing to bid on our auctions that will benefit the Humane Society of Western Michigan. Thanks to everyone who's supporting us through POD Direct, through subscriptions on Twitch, through donations on and tips on YouTube. Guys, this has been, I don't say it enough, but this is a wild ride, and it's so fun doing this. And as Jeremy put it the other night, can't believe we get to do this for a living and get to run these these entertainment pieces and education pieces for you, the Lions fans out there. So for myself, for Ryan Matthews, for Jeremy Reisman, it's time we get out of here. We'll see you Starside.
Recording stopped.
All right. A little overtime time, but not a ton because the game has already started. And by chat, I know that the Bills fumbled to start the game. I have no idea what happened after that.
3-0. Denver's got a field goal.
There you go. I did, MNUFC, I did forget to read your $50 donation, so let me do that now. $50 donated to the Alzheimer's Association, said, "This was easily the most fun I've had at a Lions game. So many Lions fans were there. Even had 10 fans on my flight back to Minnesota."
Minnesota.
That's fun. Yeah. That's one of the things I kind of miss about not being able to go to games as a fan as much anymore. It was just like being... I've told people this for years now, because when I was living in LA, it's what I did. Going to away games is like a whole different experience as a Lions fan. And now that they're good and that there's so many people at these away games, it's such a cool, unique experience. If you have it in your budget, and as Sam Farmer wrote in his LA Times piece, like, a lot of people are budgeting away games over home games because they're cheaper. It's cheaper to travel because you can buy cheaper tickets in Chicago, in Minnesota, wherever. Because Ford Field's a hot ticket.
I've gotten pushback a lot from guys at work about Lions taking over the. By the way, interception from Josh Allen.
That's not good.
No, it's not. As much as the Lions have done well, I see some people who still around my line of work resist this idea that Lions are taking over stadiums, and I've now come up with Red Wing theory, that there's so many Michigan people dispersed across the country, especially in California, where people have just moved over the years. It's kind of like Buffalo Bill. There's a lot of Buffalo Bills fans out here too, for that matter.
Sure.
But like across the country, Michigan people are spread out, which makes it very easy for a lot of people to get together. And it's all it really needed was a good team to activate those transplants. And what do you know? Here's the Lions.
It's cool. It was cool,
It's very
but
cool.
to me it was cool. Like, I think I've told the story before. I was at the Tampa game where the Lions ended their road losing streak that was like 2 seasons
A couple
long.
seasons, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was an insane environment. People were going nuts. There certainly wasn't the numbers of Lions fans that there were in Tampa this year, but there were plenty, and they were loud and like just going and hugging random strangers. You don't get to do that in a away game because everyone, or at a home game, because everyone at the home game is you're just high fiving everybody. But if you come across a Lions fan at an away game in that concourse, you're all just like, you're here too. Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't do it for Lions. But I think one time I went to Turner Field for a Braves Tigers game, and same experience, just far less, but still, like, we're everywhere. Time to activate it.
Exactly. Bye, Ruby. I did notice that you're here. Sorry I didn't acknowledge you, but thanks for stopping by. We're friends.
Another thing that I just saw, because I figured this was the case. See, the Bears are second in the league in turnovers. 18 turnovers. The only team that's ahead of them are the Cleveland Browns, and I feel like they have somewhat of an excuse.
Yeah.
They've had to play PJ Walker and Dorian Thompson Robinson. So
well, to that same thing, how many turnovers? I am curious, how many turnovers has Tyler Bagent been part of there?
He's thrown at least 5 interceptions.
Or Tyson Bagent, excuse me. I'm going to keep doing that.
He's bad.
Yeah.
I hope the Lions play him, honestly. I know a lot of people think.
What, you want to ace? You want to go up against the secret Bagent man?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think actually part of me wants them to play Fields just because I want Aaron Glenn to have more tape of a mobile quarterback. I don't know if it'll help at this point.
Bagent's a little mobile. He's got a little movement.
But like, you're going to be playing them
How dare
twice
you
here.
put down
You're going to
Justin
be playing
Fields like
the
that.
Bears twice in rapid succession. I might as well. Whoever they play, I hope they play them twice. That's all.
Jeremy just white men can't jump. Tyson Bagent.
Let's look at his stats.
Oh my god, that was the most casual one-handed catch I have seen in my life.
All right, it's not as close as I was hoping. But Justin Fields has 39 rushing yards, 39.5 rushing yards per game. Bagent has 21.8.
Do you know who's second in rushing yards by quarterback in the NFL?
No.
Josh Dobbs.
Really?
Second most rushing yards among quarterbacks in the NFL. Only behind Lamar.
Yeah, I figured Lamar was one. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But isn't that kind of wild?
It is.
Probably though, because Justin Fields hasn't played in a few weeks.
Yeah, but and I guess I hadn't even considered that Josh Dobbs' stats are between two teams. So has he started every game this season? He hasn't, right?
I think there was one Cardinals game where he didn't start.
No, he
Oh no, he didn't start that one Vikings game because they didn't want to start him.
Right.
They
started,
but he did play 90% of it.
He did play because who was the quarterback?
I think Jaron Hall.
Jared Hall.
No one needs
Jared
to
Hall
know.
was the starting quarterback in that game. Yeah.
Yeah, but he got concussed.
Right.
What's Fields? Fields? I feel like he's got numbers, even though he's been rushing.
Josh Dobbs has had at least 40 rushing yards in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games this year. I can scoot a little bit.
He can move around.
And surprisingly, not a ridiculous amount of sacks. Because a lot of times, like, Justin Fields is a perfect example. Yeah, he can beat you for like a 30-yard gain, but he's also going to take 5 sacks a game.
Yeah. Also led the league in fumbles last year.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. Remember how I was telling you I needed like 15 fantasy points to win tonight, Ryan?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that fumble was by James Cook. Minus points there.
Oh, no.
I think if we're talking fantasy football and if we're $300 short of the next spin of Wheel of Pain, it might be time to get out of here.
That was my plan, to poison the well.
Was zone in the secondary? Shouldn't we rush the passer more? I think the Lions are rushing the passer a lot. I think Alex Anzalone blitzed a lot again in this game. It's just not effective as much. Anzalone's a good weapon, but sometimes they're going to pick up Anzalone and someone else has to win on one-on-one, and that's what Dan Campbell was talking about today. No one won their one-on-one yesterday.
I don't think they were really dropping Hutch into coverage that much, to be honest.
It happens every now and then, but I was going to say I think
Wait,
maybe
what?
he dropped into coverage on the interception, but I'm not sure that's true.
I'm looking it up right now.
Wait, what just happened in this Bills?
Hutch had 4 coverage snaps yesterday, according to PFF.
What the hell happened here?
4 of 59 snaps.
Wait, Mims was down. Did they just? Oh, they pulled it out of his. He was down. Like, what were they calling there?
Just letting the
don't know.
play
I'm
run,
not-
doing the
I'm not-
stupid ref thing where it's like, well, we're not sure what happened, so let's just run the play, just in case. Yeah, his forearm's down.
I'm not watching.
No, they took it away. They took it away now. Okay,
but
like Mims was down. Sorry, I'm watching this game now. So
Yeah. I guess the one other thing that I thought was mildly interesting from yesterday's game was when cornerback had to come in for Jerry Jacobs on one play. It wasn't Will Harris.
That's true.
It was
Yeah.
Khalil Dorsey.
Khalil Dorsey came in.
Dorsey.
So, because when I saw Jerry Jacobs go down, I was like, "Oh boy, cool, Will Harris time."
Yeah.
And I already had.
I
the
almost
Twitter
tweeted
fingers
it out
going.
too, but
Yep,
then I saw
yep.
30 out there. I'm like, 30?
I was like, Jeff Okuda's back on the team.
Jeff Okuda from 2 years ago?
His rookie season. Yes.
30, then 23, then 1. Is there another number in there? Or is that all of them?
Number 0 because he's not.
I
here
can't
anymore.
do math right now.
Well, it's not. I would say he's in a better place, but it's Atlanta, so.
Oh, yeah. Also, just don't say that.
Yeah,
It makes it
right,
sound like
'cause
he's died.
All right.
All right.
Time to get out of here. Thank you to everyone who donated. Quirky Zerky, thank you for the 100 bits and the 100 bits from NFUC as well. Quirky Zerky does point out that Goff's completion percentage on Sunday being 23 of 30. 23. We held on too long. 23 of 33 is 69.69.
Oh,
Nice.
My
Triple
69696969.
goodness.
But
Infinite.
we're
nice.
not going anywhere.
Oh,
Because
my gosh.
MNUFC just donated $300 to the Alzheimer's Association to get us over the 12,000 mark. Thank you, MNUFC. I do appreciate that, even if maybe my face isn't saying it.
Why don't we just save the Wheel of Pain for next time?
Nope. I promised that we were going to do it, so we're
Okay.
going to do it. Let me just make sure, first of all, you didn't redeem it for anything else. Campaign. There we go. Donations. Also wants an egg on the head. All right, so I'll add that to the list. We're not going to do those because they're a little too messy at the moment. So, MNUFC 1 egg. Sweaty Doofus has 1. JT Sam has 5. Dreskel has 1.
Oh, dude.
Jesus.
Do you guys know the price of eggs these days? You've been to the grocery store?
I'm literally gonna pick up like 2 cartons when I go tomorrow.
I picked up 1 carton and I feel like I'm just gonna have to get more now. And I like eggs. It's like I'm just gonna look at each one I crack. I'm like, what a waste! I could have eaten this.
Couldn't you just ask Harry, Jeremy?
I could. I think we do have chickens. You could literally just pull them out from the chickens. I don't think he would appreciate that though. Yeah, you can have three eggs MNUFC for a $100 donation, of course. All right, so let me bring up the Wheel of Pain here. Streamlabs. I'm probably going to take away all the stuff that's dirty. Like whipped cream in the face. I don't want to have to deal with that right now.
Well, what's JT Sam talking about?
Doesn't Rhino? No. We only had one spin of the wheel of extreme pain, and that was fart spray to the face, and it was. Let's never do that again, please.
All right, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Spin that wheel.
I have to find it. Where's spinny wheel? And then I have to add. Okay, there's it on the screen. It should be. Okay. Let me edit what's on there, though. All right. So pickle juice is fine. Up downs are fine. Eat a bug is fine. Bean boozled is fine. Wasabi spoon is fine. Okay, we'll just keep it at that. Don't save chickens now. All right, here we go. Spinning it in 3, 2, 1. Ten more up downs. Does anyone else want to take these? I've already done 20. I'll do 30 if I have to.
Maybe on another stream, but I am ready to. I'm ready to take a mop to my floor right now.
I join you, but the power of technology. I don't have any pants on.
Oh. I don't like up downs. It's a benefit.
It's a benefit.
Brother, I'm the amount of weight I'm carrying on my body, it is a wheel of pain.
I do have to put a belt on because, as we learned last time, things got graphic.
Yeah.
I'll put it. No, we're not respinning. That's not how this works. We can't respin when it's not the one that you want. That we would just put it up to a poll if we would just do what you wanted every time.
Your background has just made me so uncomfortable all stream long.
Oh, this is going to be a bad game tonight, isn't it? Holy shit.
I also
the Bills just completely lose their moxie on how to run offenses.
Chet, you have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh my. Can't believe we're at 12 grand and we're like not even halfway through the
13.
month.
Well, it's a little under $1,000 a day at this point. Help, is it a good trade to get up Devontae Adams and James Conner for DK Metcalf and Joe Mixon? Well, I think the running back help is appreciated there. Metcalf, I don't know if that is consistent enough production to really trust there. That said, Devontae Adams, not a great quarterback situation, but seems to be improving, question mark.
Yeah. It also depends on like what kind of league you're in? Like, is it a keeper league?
I'm assuming this is. I'm just going to assume any fantasy request you're playing PPR. If it's a redraft, though,
Which I mean, if it's a redraft, I would do that.
yeah.
Yeah. DK Metcalf and Joe Mixon are gonna just be playing more meaningful football down the stretch.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are ready for this?
I guess.
Yeah, let's see you do it, big guy.
Okay. Should I go full
Te-
screen? I guess I probably
Yeah,
should.
go full screen.
Pin myself. Go desktop. Bring you guys down so you can see it, people. All right, here we go. Why wouldn't you be looking at my package? All right, here we go. 10 up downs. As the Bills are punting yet again. Zazu wants
It's
in.
terrible.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, don't. There was lag? There was lag? For real? Oops, sorry, Zaz.
Yeah, the camera was chopping a bit. Oh, I think we lost the stream, actually.
Oh. Did Jeremy
What?
Yeah, we're offline.
Jeremy up downed us off stream?
It doesn't say I'm offline. Can you
I'm
see me
looking
now?
At the stream right now. I'm looking at the stream right now. It says we're offline right now.
What?
There we are. Now we're back. We're back.
And we're back.
I didn't do anything. I
Jeremy-
don't even have
Yeah,
an
you
internet
did.
connection in here.
Don't say you didn't do anything because you definitely did 10 up downs. I saw all of them.
Like, we didn't disconnect here in the Zoom chat, I mean, in the Zoom call, but, like, apparently this knocked the entire stream offline.
No way.
No, we saw him do it. We saw him do it.
Are you guys serious?
Yes. Yes. I'm watching a version of the stream right now, Jeremy, just so I can see chat.
All right. I'm going to get out of here, though.
I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, seriously. He did it. I can verify that he did it.
You have to.
All right. I'm going to try to raid you guys over to, I think John was streaming. Jesus.
I think this is a Twitch problem, folks. We just need to get out of here. It's telling us we got to go home.
Was it working on YouTube? What about YouTube? Was YouTube fine?
Oh, I had a YouTube window up, but I don't know. I have like way too many windows now, so I don't know where mine. I think I closed it. Damn.
Doesn't look like John is live, so we're going to send you guys over to Bridget. Bridget Case, who big sports streamer. She's a lot of fun. She's a Chargers fan too, right? I'm pretty sure she's a Chargers.
Apparently, we're getting the helium Twitch again now.
What?
Apparently.
No, we're not respinning. We're not doing any of that stuff. Twitch,
We're getting the fuck out of here.
if you're with us on Twitch, we're going to send you over to Bridget Case. Very fun
If we
sports
are on
streamer.
helium right now, I just want to say real quick, I just want to do the rich atmosphere DRG memes, rock and stone. Just like that, rock and stone. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Get us out of here.
Next stream, I haven't talked with Eric, so I don't know when midweek mailbag is going to be. Ideally tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I'll talk to him, but we'll let you know on Twitter. All the places where we let you know, we'll let you know.
Hell yeah.
But anyways, Ryan's gone. We're about to leave. See you guys later. Oh.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay.